And welcome aboard, folks. Happy Halloween to everyone out there. It is the wonderful spooky weekend there of All Hallows Eve. Um, we are once again returning to the lands of Middle Earth, specifically to Numeriador, the far northwestern part of Middle Earth, almost at the shores of Linden and the Great Western Sea. Last time, our intrepid adventurers had ventured north from Mifflin, the Grey Havens, as they are called, and had ran into a small settlement of a place called Galernos, where they met Pelimnoth the sage. While there and enjoying his company as a person who, of course, is very has a lot of questions for those outside of his area, they were treated to his hospitality and the hospitality of the other elves of this small little abode. They all seem to be um, sort of adventurers of the mind, if you will, ones who were studying the land and um, tending to their own souls and minds away from the hustle and bustle of the more war torn parts of the world. Very peaceful little quiet place. Unfortunately, it was broken by a scream. When our adventurers went outside to investigate, they found, horror of horrors, a walking corpse in the midst of this idyllic village, which they dispatched without some bit of unpleasantness, because no one likes seeing a corpse and they don't smell very good. But this, of course, caused a bit of a stir in the village, and they were asked to investigate where this may have come from. They were given as a guide to the local area, um, um, Manos, the ranger who sort of helps protect this little place. He is a bit of a surly elf, not the type that you would normally think of as singing songs and into the night and such. More of the type that broods in the corner and may one day teach a young human lord how to properly sit in the corner of an inn and smoke a pipe in the dark. So, as they left the next morning, snow had fallen the night before, covering most of the tracks. But with the help of their guide, they were able to find the little small signs of passage. A bit of rotten cloth hanging on a small branch of a sapling. The discoloration of well, the foulness that falls off of these undead things smeared upon a rock. And through the day, the three walked across the beautiful, pristine white of the far north, on the day through midday and into the evening, before finally setting sight on the peculiar mounds in the distance that mark where the humans bury their dead, or did at one point. Um, Meanwhile, um, coming from the north, a lone figure treads the snow, walking expertly upon it, not as if they are unfamiliar with its frosty touch upon their feet. As our eagle eye dives down to this lone figure, would Sura describe himself, please?
Peering beneath the hood of a pointed hood of brilliant white wolf furs, the head of a wolf fashioned into a great cloak that covers the frame of this man, not of any great height, standing 5'5". Beneath the hood, out of the darkness of its large maw, peers two pale, bright blue eyes and a young face of a man just now well into his adult years, but still the freshness of youth still evident on his face in the form of the barest beginnings of a growing or burgeoning beard, but still many years off from any sort of anything of note. He is adorned and dressed in warm clothing and furs, large, heavy set boots, the size of them treading softly and quietly and expertly, familiarly over the snowy tundra and fields of this warmer land, at least according to him. He's covered in scarves and he is walking with a large staff, though it is more a bundle of sticks, it seems, tied together into some sort of aid for him as he traverses. He's as well, upon his back is a large sack of his supplies, a rolled up tent, and a hide shield that slings, and a large pouch filled with many things of his craft. He walks, occasionally stopping, surveying the area, looking up into the sky, the clouds, and taking in deep breaths and taking in the scent of this place, the smells of this place, so strange upon his nose, an unfamiliar land. Yet still, as he looks behind him to the place where, to the land from whence he had ventured far from, he feels the pangs of home, the faces of his loved ones, their laughter he still hears upon the chilly, icy winds that blow. To him, these winds are, well, they are a comfort, something he's grown up with all his life.
What has brought you here this day is a vision that you'd had, a dream. You saw yourself meeting 3 people, but you knew you would meet 2 first. One was a man who was a friend of a bird, and the other was an elf who has lost his light. The third, which your vision said you would come across later, but was still part of this meeting, was a man of the woods, who sought to see the world beyond the trees. But you also saw a vision of a dark thing, something not right in that vicinity of where you would meet them. And the vision that you had is beginning to feel, well, the area is beginning to feel familiar to you from the vision. You knew it would be the snow, but it would be your snow. And that somewhere nearby would be a revered place that was no longer revered. As you trudge to the south, you see just above what seems to be to you a set of little hillocks. You see a bird, a wing, fly north above you, then wheel into a circle. As you gaze up, our camera pulls up to this bird, and then beyond the gaze to where we come face to face with the Strix. Would you describe yourself, please, sir?
My Nardil of the House of Telpinar is a young Dunedain, could pass for a human between the age of 24 to maybe 34, perhaps. He's not unhandsome, but he has a bearing about him that is a bit off-putting, which is unique for a bard. Most minstrels of the world are very approachable, very kind, very loving, and very perhaps amorous in some ways. Minardil has this kind of there's a bit more back alley and gutter fight in his walk than would be commonly found amongst people of his vocation. He has about 3 weeks of growth stubble across his face. His hair is almost a dark, almost black brown, um, that is hidden within a dark gray cloak. Um, on his left shoulder sits an eagle owl, um, his familiar, known as Olos, which is the elven word for blizzard. Um, he sports a rather wicked scar just to the left of his nose, across his lips, that gives him a kind of a rugged, but if not a rough, uniqueness to him. But at this moment in time, as they're trudging through the snow, he is humming the couplets, or the melody to the couplets of Luthien under his breath.
And walking beside him, a bit, maybe a step ahead off to one side, is a tall elf, clad in the usual greens and browns of a ranger of the north. The breeks are well worn, the boots well kept, but once again showing a bit of sign of age. The cloak having the tattered edge of one who has spent much of his time away from civilization. He holds a simple elven carved bow in his left hand, though it is simple and unadorned. Its curves are almost a music to look upon. The craftsman, obviously a master. His eyes are a piercing deep green. One might actually look into those eyes and imagine the waves of the sea crashing in across a reef. His hair, what little you can see of it, is the light brown, common to the Sindar elves, those who had stayed behind, those who had not crossed the sea in the early days to see the light of the two trees, which placed its glow upon their hair. But those eyes are constantly scanning, looking out from a face that doesn't seem to have a lot of humor to it. He hears the humming of the tune, and though he recognizes it, you can almost see a slight bit of annoyance on his face as he thinks to himself that that humming will give us away to any enemies that happen to be out here. His eyes are drawn upwards, and Minardil notices his bird doing the same, gazing upward at this wheeling bird just over the next rise.
What kind of bird is it?
It is it's a kestrel. They're not common in this part of the world, but they have been,
okay.
according to your companion. They are occasional visitors to these areas. Although he looks over at you and says, "It sees something below. Could be friend, could be foe." So, your damn songs have me rhyming now. And as he looks around, he says, "I wonder where Belflecka has gotten off to hunting those rabbits."
He'll be back, hopefully with dinner.
Hopefully, but
he knows where we're going.
Oh yes, I think we should be wary though. If that's a sign that we should be on our guard. About that time, said you see sort of as you're looking towards the northeast on the track, slightly more to your north, you see the beginnings of the hummocks of snow-covered barrows, and just to the south of those, you see a lone figure top the rise. This bird seems to be circling it, and it's a bit odd to you, Bynardil. As soon as he comes into sight, the bird wheels and flies off towards the west. you're muted. Yeah.
My boom was down. Got a tickle in my throat. Don't want to cough into my mic.
I understand.
With Meinardill's his connection with his familiar, the thought comes up in his mind, like he half wanted to launch his owl after the kestrel. Obviously, a kestrel is a much smaller, much more fragile bird than an eagle owl, so I would be easy prey. But that's he recognizes for what falconry training that he has studied. Those aren't natural movements. Obviously, that is someone's bird. That is a trained bird. So his owl will possibly like duck, almost like it was going to launch itself, but it just, all right, no, just, and he reaches up and then strokes his feathers. No, not that one. We wait for now.
Okay. So, Sura, you see these two down below, walking through the low scrub in the area, and you see this one figure reach up to this large bird on his shoulder and sort of stroke it, and it springs that feeling of deja vu that you get when you see something that you were meant to meet, or a place you're meant to be in a vision. You're drawn to them.
For a moment, I get a sense of vertigo or dizziness, as is often the case whenever I see things twice, as it were. I then lean back against a rock slightly, as if to hide myself out of sight in case they haven't noticed me. But as the place has not a lot of cover, I instead stand there for a moment and try and observe them from the distance. Of course, making sure that these three figures are not, in fact, scouts of Angmar or some sort of war band.
Manos, calls out to you. Do you speak any of the Dunlending language by chance?
I do not speak the Dunlending language.
Okay.
No.
So he calls out to you in a language that you don't recognize. But he doesn't wave to you. It's more of a, you can tell by his demeanor, it might be a like a question of who you are.
As he hails me, I look down, and now no longer able to quickly hide. They've seen me. I quickly glance behind me just in case I need to make a run for it. Before then, making sure that I have an idea of an escape, and then I look down and I do raise a arm covered in gloves and furs above my head in recognition. Though I do not say anything, I simply raise my hand and look upon them. Still that vision, the familiarity of this place, as if against my own will, I take a few steps around this rock or this ledge, and I begin to slowly make my way down to meet them or get a closer look at these three.
Okay.
Muttering soft prayers for the spirits to guide me and protect me as I go.
In those moments of hesitation, Meinardil will actually just reflexively, his left hand will just rest on the keons of his war sword, and without him really realizing it, with his thumb, he's disengaged the sword from its scabbard with a click, and he doesn't make any more moves to that.
So Manos looks over to you, Bernardo, and says he doesn't respond to the local languages, so he's not from around here. You see him sort of studying this figure as he comes down the furs and such. He says he has the bearing of a man of the far north.
Indeed. The customary dress is very distinctly foreign. It is unlike, it is dressed and fashioned for climates which are far, far, far colder. The thickness of the hide, and even like the coloration, various sea mammalian hides, if you're familiar with such animals, and even accoutrements upon his vest, which kind of gleam almost like ivory, but they are of bones. Seems to be looking like the bones of large creatures, worked into the fabrics, kind of as if to help knit it together, giving his look to be quite primitive and barbaric, at least most definitely in contrast to the people of any civilization or cities. Definitely of that, and from Arthur Dane. And this man approaches, and he has a fresh face as he cautiously but determinedly rounds the bend and makes his way down the slopes until about 30 feet away. He'll raise his hand and call out a greeting in the language of Western, an accented voice. Hail!
Nardell's ears will pick up at or perk up at Western, and he'll respond, warm winds and fair tidings to you, foreigner. Do I, Jono, do I see any, I'm going to go to, you said like white wolf hides. Do I possibly see sea lion furs in there at all? Are we talking like we're a bundled up Inuit guy?
Very much a bundled up Inuit kind of look.
Okay.
And yes, you definitely see the leather boots are made of some sort of sea lion or animal hide. That is for certain. The rest of him looks to be made of what looks like elk hides. Is what the this sort of soft leather vest, or this tunic essentially. That's the exterior layer. Yeah.
Without taking my eyes off the newcomer, I'm just gonna kind of like tilt my head in Manos' direction and say, "You never seen a snow leopard before, or a sea lion?"
It's been quite a long time, but yes, I have seen them before.
That's what he's wearing.
So
He'll actually pat the hilt of his war sword, just kind of like clicking it back into place. This guy's harmless.
he even with you sort of relaxing, Manos, he does relax a bit. He said many times a foul thing has come in the guise of something that seems to be harmless. So
Yes, Manos, you.
he actually chuckles briefly at that, and he says, "Hell, stranger, come closer. I'd have a look at your face and ask you where you are from."
It is then as I approach, my shield had slid to my side as if in a sort of defensive posture, just in case. And it seems that the staff that I'm walking with is actually a bundle of what looks like some sort of spears, perhaps 3 of them, but they're very thin and they're kind of bundled together. But it's being used in the fashion of a staff and is not being pointed in any sort of aggressive manner. As I cautiously approach and to the warm words, is the man spoken Western, correct?
Yes, yeah, he replied in Western.
Yes. Yeah. So as he says that, it is then that I lift the wolf's pelt head off and reveal my face of a young man, a boy of decent appearance, nothing out of the ordinary, but the very typical and fair features of a Lossoff, one of the Northmen, the snowmen from the wastes of Forodweth, far to the north. He has like long, almost blonde, like pale blonde hair, kind of tied back into a ponytail, a young face as well. But there's blue eyes, and as the warm laughter rings out amongst this company, I speak up and say, "Hail, Southerners, travelers in your lands. Pray tell, you are not friends of Agmar, are you?"
The Strix, when you get within, I suppose, comfortable speaking distance and out of
About 20
politeness,
feet away, yeah.
he takes off his hood, letting that morning sun on his face. You actually see that wicked scar on his lips. It kind of like almost makes him like almost purse his lips. I mean, it's a tad bit painfully. We don't know, but a bit spooky he is. But at the mention of possible being agents of Agmar, he just snorts. And with that, he'll actually let his owl down onto his fist, and then he'll launch him up, and he'll just circle. I'm not. I think Manos is though, and I kind of like playfully like shove him. I'm not gonna knock him over, but it's still like a.
Yeah, Manos throws his hood back and he sort of glances over his shoulder at the push, and he says, "Things like that are not to be joked of, Strix. No, we are not friends of Angmar.
No,
We are
neither
very
is our
much
third,
foes."
who's
Kinda
out
jumped-
counting rabbits.
I kind of jumped back, almost a little bit skittish. I jumped back for a second. Until then, I saw the joke ring out amongst the group, and I begin to smile, and a big beaming smile emerges on my face.
And when the
Miss.
hood goes back, it reveals Manos's elven ears and his elven features. So he towers almost a full foot taller than you, by the way. Just shy of 6'5". Of course, the elves of the world, the Sindar are quite a tall people. He actually takes the arrow that he had knocked on his bow and places it back in his quiver. And he says, "Have you been traveling far?
You're a
What have
long
you
way
seen
from
to the
home."
An elf. Yes, I have traveled very far, but I have come to the land and to the place that I've. It is good to meet kind fellows on the road. Yes, thank you. I'm taken aback. I've had good fortune. I must thank the spirits. I've managed to find. Well, this land is my people. We have been driven from our lands by the minions of the Witch King. We have fled far into Arthurdane for shelter. I have separated from them, searching for answers.
Answers, hopefully, you'll find here. I have the community that I am sworn to protect. That's what they do. They find answers, but you may find yourself.
Is that true?
Well, among them, yes.
I've been sent on a important journey to seek the counsel of the elves, and by the fortune of Nostru, I found an elf here before my eyes. I'm sorry for staring. I have not seen the likes of your kind, though I know very little of your language. I've been taught by my grandmother.
Oh.
Apologies, I have not introduced myself. My name is Sura Oyavaki. I am the son of Linda, and she is the daughter of Arabilth, and she the daughter of Hamilda. It is good to meet friends on the road, especially in lands so befallen by dark times.
Manos steps forward and reaches down to his belt, pulling up a flask. He uncorks it, tips it to his lips, taking just a bit of a sip, holds it out to you and says, "Well met, Sura. My name is Manos. I am a ranger of these lands, and we are on a quest to discover a foulness here and to remove it. I wish we had met on a more jovial jaunt."
A foulness, you say?
Yes.
I kind of like let that drift as then I look towards the next person to introduce himself.
Yes, the restless dead.
My eyes grow wide.
The Strix doesn't really say much besides he looks at a nearby cairn, kind of with this like weary, knitted brow look on his face.
Yeah. Manos looks over at the Strix at that, and I'm not saying very much, and still with the extended flask held out. And he says, "And now he chooses to be quiet." This is my companion, Menardil the Strix. He is a man of the Dunedain.
He bows with a flourish.
And he
Hail and well met,
Manos,
Dunedain. I bow with a in a almost familiar fashion, as if the foreigner is attempting to replicate a greeting that he half remembers.
Oh, okay. With that, Manos will sort of look at the flask in his hand and take it back and cork it. And he says, "We are." He looks up at the sky. He says, "With the light waning, we've been trying to find a burial mound or these areas. These barrows mark the outer perimeter of the ancient place where the old Numenorians would lay their dead to rest. We believe that's where this foulness came from. At least that's where you tracked it from. Have you seen anything like that while you've been wandering?"
I have not seen, perhaps, but I sensed there was some sort of, how should I put it? I have felt something was amiss and wrong. This strange dream, perhaps, that has been following me. And you what you say is truth, Minardil, the Strix. You speak of the walking, the dead that walk.
He just nods.
Okay. Yes. The Manos says yes. The dead that walk. Just a night hence, the one wandered into our small village and caused a bit of a stir. Minardil here and our other companion, who, as I said, has chosen to go hunting at this moment. They dealt with the thing. Bellaflecca was his name.
Please, let me come with you. I wish to help.
How old are you, Sura?
23 seasons.
Really?
I
That
am
young? All right.
Yeah. Mono sort of looks over at the Strix at that, and he's like, is that grown for a human?
He is of age.
Yes.
Damn, he's younger than me.
Yeah, if you,
I kind of look like I kind of look really down at that. Oh, he is so young. I kind of look down at that. I kind of look a bit hurt, just a little bit, just like I try and puff my chest out a little bit more, but there is I look a bit deflated.
Well, I'm actually going to see. Is there a skill test? See. Actually, what I want to know is, could I make a roll and to know anything possibly passing about his tribe or his people. Minardale's
Yeah.
been around quite some time, so
Okay.
what
Yeah, we
what
can
what
actually
kind
do
of role would that be?
Well,
There's
because they don't
no
really have,
lore.
no lore per se.
Yeah, just
Go
intelligence.
ahead
I've
and
actually got information on that. If you want to, I've actually got that and got those notes. So if you have a, let me know how well you could do, and I can give you that information. I got it in front of me.
Well, go ahead and get it to me real quick, because I've actually I've worked on it myself before. I haven't really come up with the good answers. What do you have?
No worries. I just found this on really cool Wikipedia. Yeah, so a wiki. So yeah, so there are 3 tribes. Like of the Lost South people, there are 3 tribes originating from this great tribe known as the Mornarium, known as the Dark Host. They were descendants of the folk of Bor, or Boreans, who were the friends of elves, humans of Easterling stock, who did not betray the elves and we're friends with them. And this was, I believe, around the First Age, very, 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 very long ago.
And we're currently
And so from the
second age,
Third,
just
mid,
third
mid
age.
third, mid third.
But how many years before The Hobbit are we?
We're
Not
about
to just sorry,
we're just shy of 2,000 years before the events of Lord of the Rings.
okay. All right. So
this would have been this would have been probably something that you could either the stories you'd either heard at some point, or you may have actually heard directly from Círdan himself there, Minardale.
oh yeah, well if that's the case, well
Círdan
I'll make
was
it.
there.
I'll make a
an
intelligence test here.
Okay.
Yeah. With a ooh, that's an 82.
Yeah, you've definitely heard the tale of where these people came from.
Okay.
And they were back in the First Age. There were many among his ancestors that were great heroes, and they were in the early days the men who had sided with the elves and the Easterlings very often came to blows, mostly because the Easterlings were they'd fallen under the shadow, under the influence at that time of Morgoth. But there was one specific tribe that held firm and chose to side with their Western human counterparts, and they were the ancestors of his people. So.
I'm going to liberally say that Sura is the 4th individual of his people that Minardale has seen in his 72 years.
Okay.
And what I'm gonna do next is not unintimidatingly, I'm gonna take a step forward. I'm actually gonna circle him. Okay. And I'm gonna be saying this as I'm talking to him. So Sura, you're 22 seasons old.
I move forward to as if to clasp your hand, as if to shake it, but then as you
I walk
around me,
yeah, I'm walking around you.
So yeah,
almost like a circling shark.
A weak smile is on my face as I kind of like as you walk around, I'm sort of trying to also turn with you, so I'm just turning on the spot, like trying to keep eye contact, thinking that this is neat. This is rude. Trying not to be rude. Yes, I am initiated as a hunter. I can cook, and I've been initiated into the learned arts of the Visla, and yes, I can do it.
So you are a man in your tribe. You're no longer a child.
I'm a man, I say, not confidently at all.
That'll get a sinister as hell smirk on Minardale's face. I'll actually shoot a look to Manos, and I'll kind of give him a real devious ass wink that might make him uncomfortable. But as I'm making my second pass around him, so you can carve a canoe, you can hunt seals. You can render whale blubber into food. And I'm rattling all these things. I'm like, shit, has he been where I'm from? What the hell? And so can you make ink out of elk parts? I actually stop and I look you straight in the eye. Like tattooing ink.
I furrow my brows. Yes.
He'll smile. The intimidation now is gone. He'll just smile, and I'll look at Manos. Yeah, he's old enough. He can run with us. I clap Sir on the shoulder, and I just go, all right, gentlemen, let's go. And I just start walking towards the burrow. I'm disengaging from the conversation. He just starts walking.
You throw me almost 2 feet forward as I stumble forward. As I am no strong frame, hardy, but definitely no large strong frame. That is for certain. I kind of stumble forward a bit, and as you start to walk off, I call out, yes, I can do these things, and I am also skilled as a healer, a stitcher of flesh, and I can lead packs of dogs.
You feel a hand firmly grasp your shoulder, not in a like a commanding way, but almost like the elders would when they were trying to assure you when you're a bit younger. As Manos comes up to you and he says, "That's good. We might actually, well, I don't know if we'll encounter dogs or not, but I'm sure we'll need the stitching of flesh at some point." And he looks over at Menardiel and he says, "Well, as we go, I will fill you in on what occurred." He starts sort of walking with you, and he says, "They said that last night at our Bella Flecka and Menardiel had journeyed from the south to visit us at our village of Galernos. And as I said, we were having a wonderful time. Menardiel, you will have to have Menardiel make this thing he makes. It's a potion of some type. He learned it apparently far in the south.
I'm out of earshot. He's not listening. I'm so glad he's not.
it has a bitter taste, but it brings on a bit of a euphoria without he looks over at you and sort of looks at your face once again. He says, "Well, you may not know about this, but to the south there are things that men take to give them visions, they claim, but what they truly do is cause them to go into stupor." The feeling is this stuff is similar without the stupor. Maybe
yes, I've heard of Blackroot. Yes, I could make some of that.
Ooh, wonderful! He may actually enjoy that.
Really? That's good to know.
He very well may. Maybe tonight when we camp. He sort of pats you on the back with that, and he says, "But what we're actually looking for is, as Menardiel mentioned, was the Walking Dead. There was one that wandered into my
Yes,
village.
Please tell me about that, please. I must know."
It was a horrible thing.
Do I hear him speak up with that sort of alarm?
You probably did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sora, it was a corpse. A walking corpse. Unfortunately, it was in Dunlending. I actually look around to see if Bella Flecka, because I don't shit on his people.
He doesn't seem to be within eye shot anywhere.
He'll just kind of say under his breath now, "I hope Belle's all right. I don't need the whole field of rabbits, Belle. Just like 3.
Well, you've known at times in your travels with him that he'll, in some cases, wander off, sometimes for a day or two. He has this tendency to find something intriguing, and he'll study it for a while. He has that bundle of vellum he carries with him that he writes in his script, the Dunlending script that he writes his stuff in, and he'll.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that, and I take solace in the fact that he's probably writing.
Yeah, he's probably
An
some sort
image of him sitting on a log just writing kind of fills my
Yeah.
mind. I'm like, oh, he's fine.
Yeah, possibly describing the rabbit he caught. He does weird things like that.
Or
Think of
drawing
it. Think of a naturalist doing that kind of thing. That's what basically he's doing.
Do I see any graves nearby? I know we're
Not
looking at burrows, but like
yeah,
a grave, proper
not
grave.
not really. As you get to the top of that rise, and these two burrows are there, they sort of almost create like a feeling of a gateway at the top of this sort of a ridgeway, one to each side, and there isn't a grave, but you do see sort of sticking out of the snow what might be it could be a stone marker, possibly against one. But the snow has covered it and seems to have fallen at some point.
Take out my my trowel, my small gardening trowel, and I'm gonna go. Do I see possibly like where the stone has been etched and there's like moss in it?
Yeah, actually, as you get a little closer, yeah, you see that actually is some kind of a carved stone, and you see
I'm gonna dig
there's
that moss out of there and see if I can
okay.
read it.
Yeah, you have to brush off a bit of the snow and such. It actually is in an ancient human language. It is the ancient language of Numenor, which you may or may not actually.
Do I? What is that language?
That is a good question. Usually, I can pop it off the
Yeah,
tip of my-
yeah, lore keeper. Come on now.
Adonaic.
I don't have that one. No.
Okay.
I speak Western,
Yeah.
Kenya, Sindarin, Kaduk, and Danail.
Yeah, it's you probably recognize the script because there are some Dunedain even now who speak it and read it. But it is a language that has been lost over time, according to some, with the thing of the blood. If you believe that kind of an ideal,
All right.
Manos comes up by you and looks down at it. Sura, you don't by chance speak Adonaic, do you? I wouldn't think you would.
Nope. No.
Yeah, he comes up and looks down. He says,
Can you read
for
this?
those of course. Well, with some trouble. It's been a while since I've read the old language of Numenor.
Yes or no?
Yes, just a
All right.
moment. So he actually takes his the little flask he had earlier, and he pours just a bit on the stone itself. It's an alcohol, so it does not immediately freeze, but it does color the stone a bit as he gets a little better contrast with it. And he says, it is a warning to those who would plunder the tombs of the lords of Numenor.
The Strix will kind of ha at that. Well, you'll have to stop me.
Well, if this was at one point a tied to any kind of a spell that some Numenorian mage had cast, it's obviously now broken, he says. But
why is it? Sorry, good.
What is that, Sura? What?
I speak up in Western, not understanding language, currently being spoken. I say, why is it that these people were not buried with the rites that they have been? They now that these corpses, as you call them, that they now walk. Why is it that they were not protected against wandering in this land?
Possibly the wards on these graves have faded with age. This place is old. I just kind of throw a look up at Manos, and I walk to the nearest burrow.
You see him actually. He's looking toward the base of this fallen stone, and he brushes away a bit of snow. And he says, "I don't think it was a matter of magics losing their potency over time." He says, "This was broken recently." And he points down. And says,
"Oh, was it? Well,
at the base where it's freshly broken."
We'll have to be careful then.
Were these corpses, as you say, were they tied correctly? Were they buried face up, as is the way?
I don't think these people and your people have the same funeral rites, Sura. I apologize.
Mono says, sort of, holds his hands up. He says, I know very little about human burial rites.
We, however, I can only speak for Dunedain. I believe many of us burn our corpses. And he says, our eyes kind of somewhat go wide, and he goes, gentlemen, should I die here? I hope you burn my corpse. Just kind of, he just keeps walking.
Manos just sort of shakes his head. He says, that would just make sense. He looks over at Sura and he says, I'd very much like to hear more about these funerary rites you speak of. But I think now we need to keep our heads about us. I don't think
Burning of a corpse should only be done in the most dire of circumstances. It is a waste of wood, and not only that, it makes it harder for one to find themselves to the Grey Lands and the Great Lodge beyond and to join your ancestors. When one is buried, their spirits rises in the smoke above into the clouds, and they may be lost. That is why it is right for them to be buried in these mounds like my people do. But they must be tied, laid face up. Though I do know of others of my people who bury their dead at sea. But that is a strange custom, not practiced by my tribe.
I can tell you, far to the south of here, there is no there is no concern about having a lack of wood. There are great forests that stretch for many days walk.
Yes.
And
yes, you are very blessed to have this.
Yeah, so we are. The humans don't seem to understand.
Good. Pray tell. Sorry, go ahead.
So the humans there don't seem to understand that. Sometimes that wood doesn't like to be cut down, but they do it anyway, and thus they burn their dead.
I see. Do any of you, by any chance, have any wool? I have some. I have a scarf that I could use, but if there may be many of these corpses, it might be better for us to prepare them to make sure that they don't rise again. Do you have wool by any chance?
I have a bit.
Are you cold?
No, I'm actually a little bit hot. This land is far warmer than I'm used to, and I kind of take off a layer. And now I'm not wearing much more than perhaps what you're all wearing. As I kind of throw the cloak off to the side. However, I'm still wearing this large wolf pelt. It looks glorious and pristine. It's the most valuable thing I have by far. Just looking at it, praising it. No, I'm not cold at all. I need some wool if I'm going to prepare the corpses.
You want a fire starter?
No,
we
don't need fire. Not unless it gets dark. It is early morning still. That is good. We'll have time to work before it gets dark.
It's actually sort of later in the afternoon.
Oh, late afternoon.
Oh, well, shit.
Perhaps,
good morning to him earlier.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
that's right. In that case, I say, no. Well, perhaps very soon we will need some light. But how far away are these burial mounds? These where these corpses are kept?
I'm standing on top of one as we speak, and I just point down.
I'm
about 8 yards away from you guys up on top of this right here.
From where you're at, you can see sort of stretching off to the northwest along this ridge. There are several smaller cairns, sort of similar to what you're on, these barrows.
So I'm standing on a larger one?
Yeah. The first two seem to get larger. They may or may not actually burial mounds. They may have been the basis of some kind of marker. It's sort of hard to say because some of the rubble around these could be the remnants of a statue. The snow sort of obscures the contours, so it's harder to tell exactly. But
are these mounds covered by rocks?
They don't seem to be.
Or is it?
They seem to be it's turf at the moment. Yeah, they may have at
Mm.
one time been, but these have definitely been here for quite some time,
Mm.
more than 1,000 years. But along this ridge, you can see to each side there are other sort of smaller mounds closer to where you are, but off in the distance, maybe as far as half a mile away, you see a cluster of mounds that are much larger. There's one that you see the snow, of course, covers the top, but it has almost straight sides toward the base, and you can see the gleam of either possibly white marble or some kind of stone that has a white color to it, catching the sun as it's westering at the top of the mountains to your west. You also
Mm.
notice it's probably gonna be dark within about an hour.
Oh, okay. That's
Hmm.
it is getting very dark.
Yeah.
We should get some light, especially if we're going to stay here for a little while. What are our? I'm sorry, I do not wish to impose. What are we doing? What are our plans?
Well, we were tracking this walking corpse back to where it come from, and it seems to have come from here. Somewhere Manos motions out toward the barrows and such further along. He said, I would like to find out if it was one of the newer ones or one of the older ones. I'm thinking possibly one of the newer ones, because the Lending tribes nearby like to bury their dead here, among their, as they think, their ancestors. So,
Why are
great
these
lords of
tribes
old.
not here then? Are you are not of these tribes, are you? You do
No.
not look like Dunlendings.
No,
Ha!
no,
No.
Nargil is not. Our friend Bella Flecke is.
Oh,
He'll
I
be along
see.
shortly.
Yeah. Well, possibly, unless he's found that tribe of the Dunlendings that are nearby. He could possibly be, as we sit here in the cold at the moment, he could be sitting in one of their huts, warmed by a young maid plying him with their ale.
I
So,
find that interesting that an elf is complaining about cold, Manos.
I was thinking more of you. I
I'm
mean,
not cold.
obviously, Surah
I'm not
here is
cold at all.
fine. And we Sindar, the cold does not bite us the same as it does the rest of you.
Mhm.
But as the sun does set, it will the chill will fall, and it being a clear night, it would may be dangerous for you to be here without a fire.
It is very
Um,
dangerous to be out at night.
I
Very,
would
very,
ca-
very dangerous.
I would counsel not venturing further into this until the morning. We don't want to get caught in the middle of this thing at night if those things decide to rise with the sun setting.
There are
Most
many of
priests,
these mounds. I see. There are many of these mounds. I'm sorry. There are many of these mounds are throughout this place. There maybe it may take some time, and the light is waning. Perhaps it would be better for us to go to this tribe of Dunlendings and maybe and tell them maybe they don't know that their dead are walking, and we could help them see to it that their lands and their people are protected against well their loved ones returning in with vengeance in their.
well, my apprentice was dispatched to inform them. That's why she is not here with us at the moment. But he motions over to probably a quarter mile away. There's a stand of pine. And he says we could possibly shelter there for the night.
So close to this place.
Well,
Of
yes.
course.
We don't want if they rise, we want to make sure that we know what they do and then deal with them before they cause harm to anyone else.
Of course, of course, how foolish of me. Certainly, that is wise.
Well, the Strix will, noticing that stand of pine a little bit earlier, but again, keeping it to himself. Is that where we're planning on staying now? We've decided.
I think that'll be the best shelter in the area. We'll find good firewood, and the snow should not be so deep under the boughs.
I start walking there. they'll meet me there. I'm taking note of any smaller of these cairns that he passes by.
Yeah, you do that you've seen the bigger ones. You're noticing that there are some that maybe just like a foot or two tall, that are outside of the what you would think of as the perimeter, possibly of this thing. It's definitely a Dunlending graveyard. As you're walking along, though, you do notice one that looks different. It looks disturbed.
I go over and inspect the thing.
Okay.
Trowel leading, we'll say.
Okay. When you get there, if you would go ahead and make me a perception check, if you would, please. And sir, you're welcome to do so as well, because I'm sure you're probably following along and seeing what he's doing.
Perception.
Sure, yeah.
That is 115.
Wonderful. See what Sir gets there.
Nice.
I've got 33 on the dice and plus perception. Yeah, it's only going to be about 61.
Okay, that's still actually not a bad roll. So you know, of course, you notice Sir notices this cairn that, and it's been disturbed as well as Minor Ardell bends over and starts really examining it. It doesn't take you very long to realize that this cairn was not dug out. Whatever caused this disturbance came from within. The stones and such have been pushed aside, and the interior of it has partially collapsed, but you can still see some of the trappings of a Dunlending burial inside. You can definitely smell the interior of a not too old burial, possibly a few months.
Stale grave earth, of course.
Yeah, it actually matches up with the image of the undead that you saw. That he may have actually come from this cairn. You also notice that because you do have some training in the magical arts, that there are some of the stones have markings on them that are fairly fresh.
Can I cast a... Oh my God, where am I? I've got spells about runes.
Okay.
I want to see, do I have an identify rune type spell?
Well, you can always use the read rune skill.
I do have that skill. I have plus 40 in that skill. You're damn right I'm going to read the hell out of that.
Yeah, give me a roll then.
Oh my God, I am on fire. That is 123.
All right. You can tell after studying the runes for a bit that these are runes that are associated with a tradition from Angmar, but it's not new. This is an older tradition, possibly going back to the beginning of the Third Age, possibly the end of the Second Age.
With that, my Narrow will he'll kind of knit his brow, frown, and then I'll go, ha, I found you. And he'll actually spit on the runes. There you are, you bastard.
Okay. Manos has been sort of watching around as you've been sort of down doing this. And he says, what have you found there, Vanardo?
I have found our sorcerer, or what's left of him, or his leavings, we'll say.
He looks over and says, is he in there?
Sorcerer.
He's not in here, but his leavings. I'll actually point with my trowel. See these runes here.
Says those runes are from some sorcery, possibly to make the corpse walk.
An old occult tradition from Angmar, we'll say mid to late Second Age.
Angmar.
Quite a lovely vintage this is, but the wine is terrible.
He nods.
I have some wine. If you would like some, I can share it.
Sura, that was a joke.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm saying I'm making an analogy. These Angmar runes are like poor wine from a bad year. Do
If
they
you
not
say
have
so.
wine where you come from?
No, we do not. We have it traded with the men of Althadane
Oh,
in the Bay of Forachel.
it's a
It's very
terrible
expensive.
wine.
You
Manos,
see,
explain it to him, would you?
as you look over and to speak to him, you see Manos taking a nip from that flask again and capping it, and he says, yeah, you know, wine's wonderful, but in the farther north there are better vintages that keep one warm.
Um, that is good to know. I will gladly speak more on this later, but the night is falling and we need torches. And this, you speak of a sorcerer that has left his leavings here.
Runic
We must prepare.
leavings, of course.
Runic.
A foulness
Oh,
in the land,
yes.
as we say.
Yes, I see those.
Well, I'm not done with this grave.
Oh.
If you wish to go on and build a fire on that hill over there with the pines, I'll be along shortly.
Yes, good idea. I'll make some torches straight away.
Okay.
And I run off and sort of throw down my gear and take out an axe and start fashioning some torches. I will attempt to make 6 using just some dried wood if I can possibly get it, or at least
Yeah,
even this climate.
Yeah. You'll find
It's gonna be
dry
difficult.
wood under the pines. There's
Yeah.
quite a bit of fallen branches here and there that you can fashion into torches and such, and possibly even to build a fire.
Yeah.
As you hurry off there, Mono sort of leans over down to Monardo and says, "Will you be long, you think?"
No.
Okay. I was going to get one of the torches the young boy's making and maybe bring it back so that you could actually see what you were doing if need be.
No, I'll
I'm
be
going to
all
make
right.
a lot of torches, as many as I could possibly make before it gets dark.
I'll be all right.
He's definitely endeavoring to be helpful.
Well, most children, disciplined children, are quite helpful.
I think maybe the comments earlier of asking him out if he could do these multiple things maybe has him attempting to prove himself.
Of course. That's why I said these things.
Well, be about your business. I'll have food started by the time you get there.
He needs to find us some course line if you're able. Make sure he does not wander off.
Yes. Okay.
Since I just made a very nautical reference to a ranger, does Manos give me a look? What the hell?
Let me find out for sure real quick. See if he actually knows this term or not. Oh yeah, he looks at you. He says, "I bet he'll find that out here. Maybe a main line or possibly a jib, but I'm not sure if you can find that or not."
Well, see if you can have him set about harvesting pine tar. We'll be needing to burn that later. I need that for my magic.
He'll probably be using it to make his torches if he has his mind about him.
Well,
I'll see if we have some set aside for you. So he turns and heads over toward the trees, and when he gets there, sir, he'll actually go about gathering wood and starting a small campfire.
And I'll actually be using oil for the purposes of making these torches. So I have some various oils.
An Inuit that
which
has
is cheap.
oil on him,
which is cheap for me. Cheap as chips.
Yeah.
Wood is valuable. Oil is cheap where I'm from. So I'm like using it like quite extensively. I have an entire like almost wineskin of oil.
Okay. Yeah, you see Manos putting together a little tripod of these metal rods he pulls from his pack over the fire. And am I glitching for you guys?
A tad bit.
For a second, but you're back. You're good.
Okay,
You'll be all right.
Let me make sure I've got other things turned off. But yeah, he's putting together this fire and rigs this tripod and puts some a small pot on top of it with some bit of water in there to begin to boil, and he brings out a few little satchels and sets them aside and starts going through them and adding a little bit of these dried herbs and some dried vegetables into this pot. And before long, you begin to smell a wonderful stew going.
Mm.
I probably smelled
I
that
added
down
dried
the hill.
fish to it. I added smoked dried fish to it to give it a fishy sort of taste, which is probably going to be a bit rare in these regions.
Yeah, something you would probably actually be to like. Yeah, it's gonna have fish in it. It's stew. It's soup. Always soup.
course,
Always
yeah.
has fish in it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but yeah, I mean, it still actually smells pretty good. You see Manos begin to add a few different herbs to it. And by the time the sun actually sets and it begins to get a bit too dark for Bernardo to actually see what he's doing, you can definitely smell this stew down where you're at, and it smells delicious.
Okay. I was going to inspect the rest of this grave, but I guess I'm coming back.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just saying about at that point, that's what, you know.
How long do I have?
About maybe 40, 45 minutes before it starts getting a bit dark.
All right. I am going to, when I'm done with this grave, I'm going to go to possibly one of the larger ones, not one of the big opulent ones.
Yeah.
But not a common grave, we'll say.
Yeah.
And I'm going to think about some of the couplets that I have heard in young Gondor as I was passing through there once. There was a maiden, a half-elf maiden who decided to live amongst her humankind, her human cousins, sisters. And her name was Tathriel. I'm looking for a grave possibly befitting this, and I'm after a certain hair comb that rumor has it that it would untangle any knot of hair that it came through with the most graceful pull, and it wouldn't hurt at all. So I'm looking for one of these graves, and being as these are mostly of Numenorian, I know many people of Gondor have Numenorian ancestry. I'm going to exhume one of them.
Okay. The larger ones, one of the first things you notice once you sort of brush off the snow is they're mostly like large rocks.
Oh yeah.
So you can possibly move a few of them. Actually, go ahead and make me a strength check real quick.
Is this in sight of the camp? Does it look obvious that
yeah. No, I'm there. Yeah.
Okay. I got some comments about that later.
Okay.
It's 93 on the die, and I've got
10,
5, 5. Wait, hang on. That's 120, 123. There we go.
Okay. You're able to dislodge a few of the larger rocks, and sort of put it down into it.
There we go.
Enough where you can actually see into the mound and see that this one is still occupied, though it is a bit of an older grave. The remains are very much skeletal, but these outer graves you notice are as you see this one, they may be in the style of Numenor, but this definitely was a Dunlending chieftain. So,
can I tell male or female corpse by the what's left of the clothes?
Yeah, based on the dress, this is probably a male. He's got a very heavily rusted steel sword clasped to his chest. Some grave goods around him that are, pretty penny possibly. There's a bit of gold and some silver mixed in, but most of the stuff is very much it's rotted away in the grave, as it were.
I'm going to take out what would be pretty close to an archaeologist's brush, and I'm going to go about. What I'm probably doing is I'm laying across one of these big stone slabs.
Yeah.
And I pull kind of like my little leather toolkit, pull that out, pull a scraper out, and I'm actually, I'm inspecting the sword.
Okay.
Any runes, gems, anything? He's just.
It has a pretty good size opal embedded in the
That's
in the
quite
hilt.
pretty.
But unfortunately, the rest of the blade itself is well beyond, salvage.
Like, all right, come on now, beautiful. What's your name? And I'm like, brushing it down the blade, moving a rock out of the way, all the way down.
Do me a perception, and add 10 to it since you're doing this with tools.
My goodness gracious, I am rolling on fire. Watch. Next session, I'm gonna reveal a rolling like garbage. You guys are gonna run all over my primordial troopers. That's how it's gonna. God damn it.
That's what it's
Anyway.
designed to do.
So I've got 72 on the die. You said plus 10 for tools?
Yes.
That's 82, where my perception is 92. 92 plus 10.
Okay. You're able to get down to where you can see what possibly could be an inscription on the blade.
All right, come on now. Who are we?
Do you speak Dunlending?
I read it. I don't speak it very well. I've got a 1.
Have you got a 1? All right. Roll percentile and add your intelligence bonus plus 20.
Manos, I must ask, our friend there, are you certain he is not of the Dunedain, the local tribe? Is that correct?
He is Dunedain, yes.
Well, why is he doing that? I'm sorry, I do not know the customs of the Southerners, but shouldn't the local tribes have something to do? Maybe we should wait for them. I look like horrified at what's going on over there, but I'm not going to stop it.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, he sort of looks over and sees what he's doing. Manos seems completely unconcerned with what's going on over there. He's doing his stew. He looks up at you and looks over at him and says, "Oh, I'm pretty sure he's going in there looking for something, maybe of value or something that might be useful for dealing with the rising corpses." He's a bit odd, but
something of value.
Yes,
you heard him. Sorry, I'm not there.
And he looks at you, and he do you have a look of horror on your face as he says?
Yes,
that?
I do. I look as white as snow.
He looks up and says, "Oh, I apologize. I'm not. You humans and your burials confuse me. You bury.
Do not worry, friend. I am also deeply confused."
Well, that said, I've seen many human. They'll bury their dead with perfectly good things that can be passed down to their descendants and such. And we elves, we don't. Our deaths are different. The bodies that I am currently wearing is but like a set of furs. They keep you warm. If I so shed this form through sorrow or through being laid low by a blade, my true self will go to the halls of Mandos for a time, and then we may at some point return once we've recrafted a suit, if you will. So I know humans, where they go is much different, and it's said they don't return, though there have been tales of one or two that have. The tending of, to us, you burying your dead is very much like us saying, "Oh, this coat is dirty," taking it off and then having a ritual about it, and then building a shrine to it. So I do apologize if it doesn't make any sense to me. That
no, it makes perfect sense. That's fascinating. Thank you for sharing this with me. This is most interesting.
I'm no philosopher.
Perhaps. No, but you are very wise. It is evident by the way you speak. I listen, and I'm grateful for your words. Perhaps Minardo, perhaps our friend here is actually just checking to make sure that the graves are inhabited still. Yes, that's exactly what's happening.
That's probably
That's
what's going
precisely
on.
what's happening. I agree.
Yeah. Making sure
that-
you're still laid to
I thought-
rest.
I thought he was robbing the grave. Of course, that's ridiculous. I shouldn't.
So-
I apologize. It's such foolish
So-
thoughts.
So Menardo,
I'll go get more torches.
Okay, excellent. While you do, see if you can gather some pine tar. Menardo thought it might be important later.
Oh, okay. I'll do my best.
Okay. As you see the name Doom Edge written in that language there along the edge, it definitely is not a name that it's not a name you've heard of. Let's put it that way.
Oh no,
most
yeah,
likely-
no. This is a completely different specimen, but it's clearly of mortal
Yeah.
make.
Yes,
Besides
there is a little
myself,
make. Yes.
he said it's made
Um,
of steel.
Yeah, it was made
Iron.
of steel. Yeah,
Okay.
steel. Probably a fairly high carbon steel by the way it's actually been eaten away. And as you read that, the light begins to fade a bit.
Fade
taking your-
on what
as in
light
the-
from
the-
what?
the sun.
Okay.
As it sets. The light begins to
I was like,
fade.
what in this
Yeah.
grave is glowing? Excuse me.
No. No, the sun.
my
yeah,
my
the-
asshole clenched there for a moment. I'm sorry.
But no, that's okay.
Okay, okay.
You actually notice it because this beautiful opal that you've uncovered was catching the last rays of the sun over the mountains
Okay.
just before it dips beyond the crest. The sky itself that direction is a beautiful orange hue, but it is definitely darkening where you're at. The shadows have grown long.
I'm gonna give this grave a quick perception check
Okay.
of 82. I'm
Okay.
gonna head to toe. What is he wearing? What is he clad in? What is with him? I'm assuming spearheads, armor, burial dress.
It looks like
Coins.
like he may have been wearing a coat of plates when he
Okay.
was buried. It's of course the materials mostly rotted away.
Iron.
There is probably
Steel.
um,
Okay.
there is a spearhead that looks a little better. It's probably a better quality steel, you think, that's lasted it better in the elements.
Alright.
Though you're pretty sure the shaft is probably dry rotted. Um, you can see down toward his feet, his lower half is covered with a shield. Looks to have been ironclad wood.
I don't have enough time to exhume that shield. What
Yeah.
kind of coins, or does he coinage, or does he have like an arm bracelet?
Yeah, there's some bracelets and necklaces about his body. Yes.
Specifically, an arm bracelet is what I'm looking for.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to get an arm brace. There's one made of it's definitely decorative. The base is bronze, but it's been gilded, and there are a few gemstones set in it.
Do I see the vintage of said gemstones?
Well, yeah, you can tell they're probably to your eye. There's one emerald which comes from far to the south.
Oh,
So this
that
is
actually
probably his
sticks out
phase.
to me.
It is probably the it's probably his prized possession up here. The rest of them are more local stones that they're cunningly cut, but they're not expertly cut, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So
I want preferably a gold coin that I know is not in mint today.
mhm.
That is, if I can get something old,
Okay.
first, second age, whatever.
Okay.
A coin, preferably gold. Do I find one?
As you're hurriedly looking through, yes, you do find there's a small clutch of about 4 small gold coins.
I take
but
one
you-
gold coin and I lay this corpse back to rest.
Okay. All right. Unfortunately, at this point, the light is getting to the point where you can't actually see the coin very well. You can just tell it's gold by the green
Sora,
of the last of the light.
bring me a torch.
Just as you turn, you see me walking
Mhm.
directly towards you, as if even before you.
Oh,
even
there you
called.
Come here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I
you
have.
call-
I have.
Yeah,
Yes.
as you call out, just as Sir is about to reply to you, you both hear something on the wind. It is.
Clan has been torn from his scabbard and is in my hand. I have a high guard.
Okay.
I'm not,
Yeah.
he's not.
What you hear on the wind is a susurrant chant just below the level where you can hear what the actual words are. But it seems to be coming from further into the larger mounds off in the distance. This breeze seems to have just brought it to you at the right moment, but the sound of it actually brings a chill to both of you.
We're about to make a perception check to see if this chant is some sort of language, or is it maybe even be able to tell what kind of animal. Is it perhaps a troll which is singing in the distance? You know.
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception. We'll see how much information you get.
I'll make one too. Oh shit! Yeah, no. That's a 43.
Okay.
Right. Well, I forget. Double zeros on a D10. What's that again?
That is 100, and you re-roll and add your second roll to the first.
Oh,
So
very awesome.
anything above a 96, you re-roll, or below a 4.
Oh, really?
So,
above
below
94? Oh, well, shit.
Yeah,
okay.
above 96. 96.
Oh, it's a 90.
God.
Okay.
That's a 97. Okay,
Oh,
wow.
95 earlier. That wouldn't have. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over 250.
Okay.
Beautiful.
You actually, your keen ears from years and years of listening to things on the wind in the far north actually pick out a bit. It's like just that very moment. Maybe it has to do with your, with that special ability you have with the visions and such.
Mm-hmm.
But this words, when you actually hear them, when I mentioned earlier that it makes you feel cold, this one actually makes you feel cold to your soul, and you actually find yourself, your vision is swimming a bit, and what Minardale sees is you just sort of freeze, and
the torches drop.
Yeah, you see a room. It looks like it's made of slabs of stone, very cunningly erected. In the center of this room is a stone slab cut from one large piece of local granite. Laid upon this is a man he is obviously dead, but he is dressed in some of the most beautiful armor and weapons that you've ever seen. They gleam silver in the dim light from whatever source that your mind's eye is seeing this in. And you see arrayed around him 6 men, at least you think they are at first. But as your vision turns, you see that these men are corpses. And the sounds, this chant rattles from their mouths in a very uncomfortable way. It's almost as if it's forced, painfully forced from their decayed flesh. And you get the sense that there's something else in the room that you can't see. And the words mean nothing to you unless you happen to know black speech.
No.
But
that torch.
As you hear that, and it sort of brings you back for just a moment, you see a face look toward you, almost in surprise. But the face that looks towards you, it's hard to explain. Is it made of smoke? Is it made of water in the air? It's hard to say, but you see right through its dead white eyes as it gazes at you for a moment, and then you're back, and Menardil is asking you about the torch.
This dead. There, you hear it?
I just start snapping my fingers. Torch, come here.
Minato. I saw it again. 6 around a man upon a stone, dressed in silver and gold, the chanting, a face, smoke, eyes. My grandmother's words. Listen, Minato. There is
Just a question to the Lord
There is
Master. Is my
evil
sword
there.
glowing?
Is your sword glowing? Actually, when you
Yes.
whipped it out, it is glowing faintly. Yes.
Ronaldo, listen to me. There is evil there. The voices, the chants, there,
Point it out to me.
there. And I pointed in the direction.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yeah. The
We have
largest
to leave
mound
this place.
seems to be where it comes from. But yes, actually, Bernardo, as you look at your sword, you do notice it is faintly glowing.
What
Not
color
bright,
is it?
not
Blue again?
brightly. Yet it's a faint blue color. But as you watch this, it almost pulses with the beat of this chant.
I'm going to mutter mostly under my breath, honestly, just so to whom it may concern can hear me. What do you sense, my friend?
You get the very dire sounding voice in your mind that says evil.
What are they?
Lord Dunedain, it saw me. A face of smoke.
Yes, bring that.
It knows
torch
I'm here.
Okay.
I won't let him get you. Don't worry. Bring me that torch.
At this point, you see Manos come jogging up because obviously Sir is being a bit excitable. And he's like, "What's going on?"
I walk over. I get the torch myself.
I shakily light
Okay.
a torch. I shakily launch light the torch of my own that I'm carrying in my other hand, and pass it to you carefully. And then as Manus makes his approach, I say, Manus, over there, that chanting, you hear that? I saw something again. 6 forms around a slab of stone. A man on silver, adorned on the stone, lying. I believe he's dead. I think so. A face of smoke. It saw me. It knows I'm here. It knows we're here. It might be coming. It is there in that direction.
He
We
tilts
should
his
leave
head.
this place. This place is ill and evil.
He holds his hand up and says, "Still yourself just a moment." He tilts his head, listening, and he says, "Black speech." I can't say what they're saying, hear what they're saying, but it's definitely black speech. And I was just thinking that soup smelled so good.
Why is it that and I'm what I'm doing here is the Strix is going to make a comment on that here in a moment, but I've stuck the torch into the snow, into the dirt, and I'm actually I'll make my if you'll make me, I'll do my strength chest to put actually the stone slab back, trying to rebury this corpse. Possibly a little bit more gentle, a little bit more respectful this time. As I've taken my notes and I've with my paper that I have, I've charcoal scribed out what basically the cross guard section and the inscription of the sword is into my journal. Once I've had the corpse reburied, I'll kind of pat the stone again, and I'll say, "No, you stay here. Don't you move." And as I'm finishing that up, and I said, "Why is it that they always seem to show up when we're hungry or when good food is ready?"
It's the curse of the shadow.
Does the curse of the shadow not like good food and company?
We should warn the others, the tribe of Dunlendings, as you say. We should warn them. Tell them that this evil is upon their lands.
He looks.
What if they get attacked?
Manos looks over to you and says, "What do we tell them? That we heard a chanting in the graveyard? They'll think we're tomb robbers that came here and were frightened away by the spirits of their ancestors."
Which would be good in their eyes.
True.
We could bring them here to show them what has happened to their graves. But
yes, but I think we need to have a bit of a closer look at what's going on before we go and tell anyone anything. It could just be a minor, some minor dabbler and his small cabal, and they could be from the Delending village for all we know.
Manos, I can't tell you how, but I saw them. There were 6 of them, maybe 7. A presence I could not see, a face of smoke. It knows that I'm here. It saw me when I saw it. I cannot speak much about this. I don't know how to explain.
I'm gonna walk over to Sura.
I look extremely earnest and like extremely serious.
What I'm gonna do is I walk over to him. I'm gonna grab him I'm gonna grab you by like the collar of your furs. I'm gonna make you look into my eyes. Those steely gray blue eyes, the Strix there. You actually see how fucking spooky this guy does look. I would say, Sura, my nose is almost touching yours. You can actually smell the maybe like the day old hiking
breath.
stink and the what would have been this morning's coffee on his breath, and he'll say, do you have the gift of sight? Yes or no?
I see dreams.
Yes.
And those dreams come alive and they are real
no?
sometimes. I don't know. I see dreams.
Tell me what exactly you saw.
I saw 6 figures. They were dead. The figures stood
In
and they
that
moved.
burrow.
They chanted.
At
They were corpses, as you put it, as you would say. There were 6 of them arranged around a pillar of stone, not a pillar, a slab of stone. A man or another man, dead but not moving, not standing, was laid upon the stone, clad in silver arms and armor of make I've not seen. And there was a face of smoke that looked upon me with surprise as I looked upon it with surprise. And it knows that I'm here. And that chanting is coming from where those 6 are. That is what I saw, I dreamt. I do not know if it is true. These things sometimes do not come true, but I hear it. Do you not hear it? Can you not smell that stench?
I'm not in your head, Sura.
Yeah.
But you're saying
Actually,
that you saw all of this when you dropped the torch. Now point to the ground.
Please believe me. Yes, I did.
In those
I would
moments,
never lie
you
to
saw
you.
all of these things.
I saw all of those things. I would never lie to you.
I actually kind of like go to Manos. I think this one has the sight.
I think I agree with you. On occasion, Polimnoth has done the same.
Has
he's had a
fits like
vision.
this, almost feverish.
Well, he's been, for one so young, he may not have full control over these, but so Polimnoth has been doing it since the first age. So,
Well, I'm gonna let go of Sura at this point. I'm gonna say, well,
I almost stumbled back, overwhelmed by the
my boy,
the disrespect.
you, my boy, need to be mindful of whom you are viewing and know that someone can see you when you see them. So hush.
there are those who, of the dark, who can sense when they're being scryed, as they call it.
Yes.
So
I've heard it called remote, seeing remotely, seeing without looking in Farharad.
I'm sorry, but I do not have control over these gifts. I'm still learning. I'm still a Visla in training. Please, we do not have time to speak of this. Whatever is happening there, we must act. Either we must flee and warn the others of the Dunlending tribe, or perhaps we must go and investigate, as you say, but we must do something. We cannot stand here and idly chat.
agreed.
Well, come on, Manos. I'm just going to go take a direction and kind of like stalk off in the direction of that those burrows, the largest of the burrows, actually.
Okay. As you guys are walking that way, Manos will grab Sura and sort of not grab him, but sort of, pat him on the shoulder assuringly, and says, "We'll take you to Plimnoth after this. He may have many things to teach you. But for now, come. You're correct. It's time to go." And he unlimbers his bow and draws an arrow. And he said, "I'll."
We don't make any motion to dismantle the camp or pack up. We're just leaving our
Yeah,
gear and the camp here.
Basically, because it's going to be it's there, and we're gonna. It's about maybe a mile walk. So, so he's like, "Yeah, we'll just go ahead and just go now, unless you need something from the camp."
Okay. No, in that case, I just wanted to know, just so so I'll leave most of my gear, my tents, my packs. I will grab my staff, which I will unwrap and unbundle, and have basically be carrying now 3 javelins. Take off the tips as copper javelins, and very, very old wood, and take a round hide shield, and also carry the torch in that same shield hand, and pack another extra torch, and the oil flask, like a oil skin as well. And the torches are available for anyone if they want extras. I made 7.
There you go.
Plenty. And so I'll just be carrying those things.
So when you guys sort of moved to catch up to Menardil, said that the sun at this point has fully set. There is a faint reddish glow of the shadows of the mountains of the west, and the stars have come out. The moon is not risen, but under the faint light of the torches, the oil burns a bit cooler than what Menardil may have seen from torches before. It has more of a reddish color to it, so it almost stains the night with blood, if you will. Sort of like the glow behind me, if you will. As you make your way across the snow, these mounds appearing out of the darkness, you notice that the night has gone still. That chanting is still there, sort of it's at this point, it almost feels like it's maybe echoing off of some of these mountains as you're passing through them, possibly maybe resonating with them. It's hard to say exactly, but you hear no sounds of wildlife, no howl of a wolf in the distance, no night birds winging. Menardil notices that his bird is very nervous. Almost, there are a few times where the chanting sort of changed pitch just a bit, and he almost took wing as if to flee. I think you're muted there, sir.
I've got my war sword in my right hand, and he's actually sitting on my forearm. I'll actually reach up and stroke him, and then I'll just kind of mutter to him, "Back to the camp. I'll be back shortly." I'll just launch him back in that direction.
Yeah, he takes off. I would like you guys to make me at this point a channeling resistance roll. You should have that toward the bottom of the character sheets there.
Ooh, all right. Channel resistant. Where is that?
Okay, plus 10.
Oh yes. Oh, okay.
94.
Okay.
That is. Hang on here. So, a double odd on one die is 100. We said.
Yes. The double odd is the 10 basically.
Oh, all right.
So if you get double odd and then a 0, that's 100. So
I have a double odd, and that's 9.
So you rolled a 9.
9. Goodness gracious! Now, all right.
So Menardil, you start feeling a fear creeping into your mind. As you come up to these cairns and these burrows, as you're proceeding, are getting taller and taller. You start getting the feeling that as you pass by these things, that you get this feeling of the dead sort of inside of these graves, just sort of pressing up against the inside, looking at you as you pass, trying to catch a scent, sniffing the air as if they're a hunting animal. And you begin to hear their voices.
What Minardil will do at that point is he's dismissed Blizzard. He'll bring his war sword, kind of trembling hands, actually bring it out before him. He's actually paused at this point. He's going to take a few breaths to kind of like steel himself, and then bring the sword itself to actually to kind of like lay the blade flat against his right shoulder and actually kind of like bask in the glow there. And he will.
The glow has definitely gotten bigger, gotten more as you've gone further into the burial area.
And he'll actually mutter the couplets of cold be hand and heart and bone.
All right, do me a base spell OB test.
Where is that at?
That should be down in your magic section.
Magic says
Yeah,
my
that's where
magic
your magic
section
skills.
is not filled out. God, where did I put that?
Okay.
It's in my notebook, but
I can tell you what it should actually be.
Please do.
It should be 5 times your level.
Okay.
And in your case, because you're a bard, it's going to be plus your presence modifier.
Presence. 5 times your level. Let's see. So die 5 times your level plus presence.
Yeah. So say if you're level 5, so it's 5 times 5 is 25 plus your presence modifier, then you roll percentile.
Oh,
add that to your percentile.
Okay. All right. Oh shit, that is a 97. All right.
Okay, re-roll that.
Oh my god, I just rolled a 96.
Roll again.
Oh Jesus. All right.
Because I get to make a roll.
And 87. So hang on.
Okay.
All right. That's a disgusting roll.
Well,
90.
It sounds like it's about around 300 or so is probably what you're looking at. Or 3 plus.
320.
Okay, so what Sura sees as Menardiel stops. By the way, Sura, you weren't hearing any of this. The feelings, the graves, and such around. But suddenly Menardiel, it's almost like he starts to speak something sort of hesitantly and quietly, almost as if he's muttering it. But the more words come out of his mouth, the more commanding and pronounced the words become, almost as if they take on a life of their own. And it is he is almost singing a poem. It's just shy of his singing, more like a chant that he's doing concerning the corpses and the dead and them staying asleep and such. And you can see him quite well with this glow bluing sword on your shoulder. I want you to make maybe a perception check, if you would, Sura, specifically.
Sure thing. Okay. 36 on dice plus 62.
Okay, you see in this glow behind him, there's movement. It was almost as if a shadow was approaching from behind. When he put the sword blade on his shoulder, it changed the angle of the light, and it revealed it for just a moment. Then he started speaking, and this thing sort of moved back around the bend of the barrow.
I will rush forward, trying to thinking I saw something, perhaps about to attack my companion. So I will make a stifled yelp, not a scream, not a roar, but like as I will call out Minardil, and I'll point and I'll run towards you as if to to aid you against some sort of foe that has appeared behind you. And then as I run towards you, and you kind of look at me in the blue glow of this sword, I look in bewilderment of it, having now noticing fully this thing, this strange metallic glow, this blue. I look aghast and horrified as I see something was behind you. Something is among us here. Did you see that? Are you fine?
It'll take the Strix quite a while to actually respond.
Yeah.
But as he actually kind of turns real damn slowly, he'll just go, I felt that there.
Yeah. You still feel eyes on you, but you feel them cowering back away from these words. But you also feel this sense that as soon as you stop chanting, they're going to pounce. Is the feeling that you get.
With that, I'm actually going to lower the sword, and I'm actually going to flick the blade with my middle finger. Actually, because Clan is actually tuned, actually use a really long, murderous, beautifully murderous tuning fork. When I strike the blade there, I actually find the pitch. I mean, his hands are still pretty damn shaky, and he does feel fear in his heart, but for whatever reason, it's stage performance right now. His adrenal gland has swelled up, and he actually very softly sings Elbereth Cathanio.
Okay.
With the pitch of the sword actually aiding him.
So as you begin to sing that song, are you doing it in Sindarin or Quenya?
I think he would prefer Quenya.
Okay. So
although he defaults to Sindarin for most of his speaking anyway.
Okay. So as you begin to sing this song, it reverberates across the area. Do me that space spell OB again for that.
That is in 80s. Oh, wait, 87 plus 40. Wait, 107? Wait.
127?
Yeah, excuse me. Yes, 127.
That's okay. So as you begin singing this, first off, Sura, you begin to feel calm. As this, the words, if you probably don't speak Quenya, but the words almost convey a meaning to you, and it's a very soothing feeling. So any like agitation or fear that you are feeling sort of washes away, and it doesn't take very long before Manos looks up, hears the song, and he begins to sing counterpoint to you.
Does he actually harmonicize with
me? Yes.
Or? Okay.
Yes. And actually,
I'll just nod
for that.
I'll nod to him like mid verse, and I'll sing a little bit louder.
It adds to your own voice, and it actually drowns out the chant. And Sura, you actually hear in your mind this connection that you had to this thing that you didn't even realize was there, sort of snaps like a very taut string. And you hear something cursing in your mind as it recedes. And the chanting stops, not like just stops mid-word, but it's like it falters for a moment, as if maybe the chanters have forgotten the words.
As to say that, and among the singing, is Quenya similar to Sindarin? Is like, I have three grades in Sindarin, so
you would probably be able to recognize it as one of the Elven languages. It's the ancient Elven language. Sindarin is sort of a it's a cousin language, so you might be able to understand some of the words.
It's almost like formal and informal Elvish
to an extent. Yeah, almost. It's sort of like that. Cool. Yeah. So it's So
I'll sort of maybe eventually I might put two together, and then I feel that connection break and that
Yeah.
that change happen.
Yes.
I say softly to my companions, something has changed. Something has broken.
I'll kind of like
Yep.
wave them both forward as
Mm.
I'm assuming I'm leading this.
Yes.
I
So,
kind of lay. I'm not stopping
Yeah.
singing. I'm just basically going to wave and I'm going to turn, still walking in the direction that we were walking.
I fill up behind, fortifying supporting your back.
Basically, and as it comes into your mind, the song itself, and as I said in the original Quenya, the meaning sort of begins to drift into your mind there, Surah. Even though it's Sindarin that you know, this song itself has power. It is one of what's referred to as the songs of power.
Mhm.
And it translates in your mind as Oel Bereth Star Kindler, white glittering, sliding down, sparkling like a jewel, the glory of the starry host. Having gazed far away from the tree woven lands of Middle Earth, to thee, ever white, I will sing, on this side of the sea, here on this side of the ocean. And additional refrains going along and such. It's you recognize it as it's almost a prayerful song. And as they go through the song, the starlight above you begins to actually intensify just a bit. The stars seem to twinkle a little more brightly and a little more joyfully, and you feel a joy in your heart from this song. And as the song itself comes to an end, you actually hear off in the distance a howl of frustration. Doesn't sound natural. It's not a howl of like an animal that you've ever heard, or even a person. But the night is it's still very, very quiet, but it's gotten just a tad bit brighter because of the song. So, and Minardil, the spell that was that you had encountered, that you guys had ran into, the ward, has been broken by the song. So
Good. I'm assuming we're at the gate of this burrow, or the
you're
opening.
you're probably 100 yards from it, but there's no more burrows between you and it. It's a cleared area around. There is a ring of stones probably 20 paces ahead of you that encircles this whole thing.
Then I'm going there.
Standing stones. So, okay.
It seems their right has been broken. They no longer sing, and that shriek. Something has happened.
I think.
How
I'd
do we
like to
proceed?
see before I make a judgment call.
So,
What if the worst should come? What do we do? I will stand by your side no matter what you do.
Well,
if
hush and come with then.
Okay.
Manos just nods. His bow is half drawn actually at this point. As you cross the line of the standing stones, you all feel a bit of a tingle on your skin, as if you've entered a little pocket of another world, possibly. It doesn't feel nice. It doesn't feel pleasant, but it doesn't harm you in any way. You do feel that darkness that, Sarah, that you had sensed in the area, that this is the focal point of at least at the moment of it. So
The Strix will actually, well, as soon as that influence like starts to like wash over him, he'll actually stop, take a few steps back, and then almost as if he's like testing it, almost like putting his hand through, well, like a membrane of some kind.
Yeah, it's not quite that well defined like a membrane, but
more like a feeling.
It's more like a feeling, as if a field, and as you approach closer to that barrier, it becomes more intense until it's obviously fully noticeable once you've passed those standing stones. So,
well, at that point, the Strix is going to he's going to taunt the darkness. I have plenty more songs for you.
Okay.
Should you wish to accost my companions and I'll actually spit in the dirt.
Okay.
He'll just kind of leer into this, and he'll take almost a threatening step forward as he kind of brings Clan to bear.
Yeah, you don't get a direct reply.
At that moment, I'll light a second
Coward.
torch.
Okay.
I'll be carrying 2 torches.
Okay. Let's see here. All right. So as you walk further into this area, this once blessed area that now seems to have been turned on its head, you notice there's a rising, gathering mist. It's not really thick, but it's beginning. It's a cold. It's the kind of mist that Suros probably experienced on an extremely cold night, where it's not the like the moisture rising up. It's literally the moisture freezing out of the air. Is this area feels much colder than the area outside. Outside the ring, that is.
Almost as if it's
So-
trapped, ancient cold, trapped deep.
Yes, as if one of the things that one of the legends of the Losoth, of the reason why it is so cold where you come from, is because it was at one point so close to the heart of the darkness itself, that the world itself froze.
Yes. Morgoth.
Yes, the influence of Morgoth tends to come as the as you get closer to things that are under his influence.
Great Norsu, I ask for your protection, your howl. As I then put the wolf's hood over my head. Now donning the conical hood, and the protection of the wolf is now upon me.
What you see, and it's not even like it's like they're trying to be a surprising. It's almost like they're in a procession. As you sort of round this this barrow, this great barrow it has the lower wall is probably just about 5 feet tall before it turns to what appears to be sod above, and that ancient wall gleams even in the starlight. This white, but that white seems to feel as if maybe has a film of something corrupt across it. Instead of being the image in your mind is instead of being the beautiful white of a perfectly pure wall, it seems to be maybe the diseased white of something that is rotting. But as you round to where the entrance to this thing is, where it actually faces the west, and you see the two plinths that mark the sides of the opening, you see about 6 figures coming out almost in a procession like cadence, and they come out spaced maybe an arm's width apart, and they almost as one turn.
Are they carrying any sort of sources of light or torches or anything like that?
Not carrying anything, any kind of sources of light. Now you can tell by the starlight they're carrying things in their hands, possibly weapons.
And if I may, or yeah, like my intention would definitely be to throw the spare torch that I have. I will throw.
Okay.
I will attempt to throw it in their direction in order to light the area up.
Okay.
Let's see if I can do that.
I want to make you make a roll for that. So you're not trying to hit anyone. You're just trying to throw it into an area.
Yes.
You lob it, and it tumbles through the air almost like a meteor, and it lands just right. Maybe it hits a stone that's buried a bit underneath this few inches of snow, and it stands up just right to where it's burning cheerily, maybe 20 feet in front of these figures, and its light shows you that these are 6 men of the Dunlending that are dressed for war. They're, well, the middle 3 look like anyone you would expect, except that their flesh is a bit of almost a drained white. The ones on the ends, though, are obviously dead. And as I said, they are armed for war, carrying weapons, axes, and swords, bearing the the male of a sort similar to what Minardil saw earlier in the cairn, but in much better condition than those.
Ah,
These
burial
look
Vile
ground.
spirits,
These look
light.
serviceable.
vile spirits, light, light, reveal you. As I call that out.
And you hear a whisper on the wind, Minardil specifically. And the whisper says, "You're not the only one who knows the old songs." And you begin to hear a song that makes your skin crawl. Make me a where am I getting it? Okay. Go ahead and make a channeling, yes, a channeling resistance test. And then I'll have you guys do initiative for me.
All right. Challenge. 10. Come on. Oh no. Dude, that's the third 33 I rolled. 43.
You say a 28 and a 43?
108.
Oh, 108. Okay. 108. Okay.
Drastically different.
Yeah, about to say.
Yeah.
I thought I heard 28 originally. I'm like, okay.
Oh,
That'll be
this might hurt.
interesting.
Nope.
All right. And he's got a 72. All right. So, and the roll for that's
So sorry, 43. Yep.
okay. Dear God. Okay. Okay. So you feel this song wash over you, if you can call it a song. Its beat is not one that would it doesn't the beat does not seem to be rhythmic. It seems to be arrhythmic. Almost as if
It's
it's
a song specifically composed to make you uncomfortable.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
And it
Dissonant.
So a very dissonant.
Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
And as it washes over you because of how much he freaking rolled, it makes it hard for you to concentrate. So what that means is that for the until the song ends, when you have to do a base spell roll, you're going to be a minus 25.
Yep. Okay.
So.
Oh, really?
So,
oh.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, oh, really? That all? Okay.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
The Strix has performed better when he is intoxicated. Come on.
Okay. But it still knocks it down just hey.
Yeah.
So for initiative for this game, the way we do this is let me see. Let me get to that page again because I was just reading it.
You were just there and you forgot.
Yeah, I was just there and I moved to a different freaking page.
Damn it. Just damn it.
Let me see here. Where is the combat? Well, I'm gonna do it my way. Roll percentile, and my way is you roll percentile and you add your agility modifier.
Oh my god.
Right.
I rolled a double op and a 0.
A 0 1?
No, 0 0 0.
Okay, that's 100.
There's a 100 on the dot. Okay.
So yeah, and then you roll again because.
Oh shit! All right, well.
So I got a 97. You roll again. I think it's above
Yes,
95.
You do.
Yes,
You do.
Oh wow.
Yes.
I also rolled a 97, Jono.
Oh my god. 83. Okay.
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 Oh, dang it! Hang on. I've got a
190.
Okay, so 190 for Surah.
Okay.
You'll obviously go first. Well, depending on what mine Ardill's is.
Yeah.
My
probably going
agility modifier plus
Yeah.
5. Oh, measly +5 for a 245.
Okay, 245. So
You
you're
don't
pretty
scare
much
me at
going-
all.
Okay. All right. So Minardial, yes, you will actually have the ability to act first. So you hear this song is echoing through this place, causing a bit of confusion as far as the your concentration. So what are you doing, sir?
What all can I do within my turn? Could I move up and actually attack one of these
Yes,
foul things, as well as recite the couplets of my many songs?
you could attempt to do so, but that's called a split action.
Okay.
So what you'll do is, well, first off, you'll have to do a maneuver check to see how far you're able to get. You don't have a base speed.
I
It is
don't.
based on a roll.
Oh,
Um,
that's
yeah.
actually really interesting.
So you would do a moving maneuver check, which
Um,
that's also based on what you're wearing armor wise. That's for those
which
armor.
is my mithril mail armor gives me a plus 45.
Okay, so yeah, so you have a plus 45 to roll for that. So, but of course you're so yeah, you're moving.
So the armor modifies my movement.
It does. If you don't have any skill in it,
Okay.
in that area, um, you have a negative.
Oh.
But yes, for the movement, for maneuvering and such, because of the fact that you have this elven mail, it's actually specifically made to help you move. So
But
yes, it does actually
specifically in
help you
this
move.
situation, obviously most people would not have
Mhm.
access to the gear that I'm wearing. But
Right.
to do this normally, it would
Mhm.
be that you'd make a roll and
Yeah.
your
You
armor
would
would
make
subtract that, and then you'd go
yeah.
from there. Okay.
Right.
I'm not going to do that, and I'm
Okay.
actually just going to with fervor,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to inspire my allies with the lay of Lethian, and I'm
Uh,
probably just going to snarl my way through it
okay.
with stubbornness.
Okay. Then you will roll once again your base spell and minus 25 from your bonus for that.
Minus 25
Mhm.
would still get me to 79.
Yep.
79.
Okay. We'll call that a partial. I gave you a bonus that they get from that, didn't I?
Uh,
For
Jonna, what did he
inspiring your
say our
allies.
bonus was?
No,
Bonus.
no,
Oh, wait, their
specifically for that
bonus?
song. Specifically for that song.
Oh, damn. The Lay of Lithian is plus 20 to all attacks, plus 10 to DB while sung. So,
Okay, I will say since you have a partial,
okay.
it's you're gonna get a plus 10 to your offensive bonus, and you'll get the plus 10 to your defensive bonus as well, though,
Cool.
because you didn't get a full success. And the spell is the other song is interfering a bit. So yeah. And are you going to advance and attack, or are you going to
I'm just going to
or
advance. If
advance?
they
Okay.
move up to attack, that's on them. But I'm
So
keeping
you're gonna hold your
action.
offensive bonus as a defensive modifier
I guess
if
that's
you
all
want.
I can do.
Okay, perfect.
I'm not going to be splitting my actions. I'm only doing
Okay.
this and moving. I'm not attacking.
Right. Okay, so but what that means is because you didn't do any kind of offensive action this time, you're considered to be defensive, which means you get to add half of your offensive bonus to your defensive bonus if you are attacked.
Oh, well,
So
hell, that's a
yeah,
lot too. So, all right,
no, I
cool.
know. So, but you don't
Mine
know
is
what their
quite a
bonuses
bit.
are yet. All right, so that will put Sura next. You see, you feel inspired by the song that Minardil is singing. What are you going to do, my
Yes.
friend?
I will, seeing that these things are clearly dead, and that Minardil seems to be we're doing this. We're fighting these things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
I'll
I
take a
just
take a deep breath and hold up a practiced arm, one of the three javelins I have, and I'll let it loose. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
All
no,
right.
I was gonna say with the uh just brief explanation soliloquy here.
Yeah. Give it.
Uh, with the dead in the graves pressing in on my Nardil just previously, and just kind of being inspired by kind of his fear and his shock from a couple days ago with his first encounter with the undead in his long travels. He has been from Ladris to where we are currently down to Gondor, all the way down to Far Harad and back. He's made this circle twice in his life. So he's been around, but he's never actually fought the dead. And from many of his elvish instructors, well, many of these songs can actually protect you, ward you, and bolster you against beings of the darkness. So this, with seeing the success of his performance and taking solace with the fact that I my masters were correct, and he's just steeled. That fear from before is like, oh no, we're gonna kick some ass. And he's a young Dunedain out for blood or bones at this point. So what's carrying him through this fear, this anxiety, is he no longer sees. Well, obviously he sees the corpses in front of him. He sees the enemy, but he sees you're no longer an enemy. You're an example to be learned from, and he's not tunnel vision, but they're going to be getting his best swordsmanship and his best singing, as if he was performing for Elrond himself or whatever steward or king in other cities he's performed for. So in those
test
moments,
yourself against them. This is a
oh
test.
yeah, it's exam time, and he's so keen.
That's
With
awesome.
that,
And as
the rest of you.
Yeah, and as that song rings out, the night air and this stagnant, dank, dark crypt like burial mound is this as the moon waxes and wanes. Songs in the air, just one discordant, one concordant. I think that's the word. I will raise a javelin, and I'm going to roll. All right, that's going to be
thrown weapon attack.
Yeah, it's going to be 67 on dice plus something pretty decent. I have thrown. Yeah, 67 plus 25.
All right, 67 plus 25.
92.
92. All right, and then modified by their defensive bonus. That is going to be you do hit one.
Oh yeah, I don't know if what the bonus the miniatures song has. Does it give you an attack
10,
bonus?
Plus 10.
Plus 10? Okay. That's gonna be
That's
102.
102. All right, your bolt flies true. Roll me another percentile real quick and subtract. Let's see here. Subtract 20 from it. From what you roll.
All right. 89. So 69.
69. All right. So 69. Your bolt flies and actually strikes him in the lower leg, and you see the remains of tendons and such are shredded away, and you see a bit of a splinter of bone as well. But if this had been a mortal man that you had struck there,
dropped,
he probably would have dropped. This thing sort of staggers a bit. So, but you can definitely hit this thing.
Yeah, as it staggers and still continues to make its unrelenting shamble, perhaps slowed slightly from the javelin,
maybe just a bit. Yes,
and it continues its approach. I then take a deep breath, seeing it pleased smile, but then that smile quickly fades as they continue to make their way towards us. I take my move action to raise my shield, and sort of move up just behind the Strix, covering him. The second javelin in my hand now, and that's probably going to be the end of my turn.
Okay, all right. You see Manos draw fletching to ear and let fly at another one, and I don't think he's going to actually make contact with that one.
Maybe he's a tad bit startled.
Yeah, I think he's a tad bit startled. It seems maybe that this song, this discordant song, may be affecting him slightly more than it is you guys. It could be because his elven ears are so much keener, or possibly his something else going on. But yet, unfortunately, his arrow does fly wide. But he'll actually drop his bow and draw his sword, which, as you see it, this is the first time you've probably seen the blade there, Manar deal. It actually is it has a gleam to it.
Is it one of those long curved elvish war swords that looks like a wave?
Oh no, this is definitely one of the straighter swords.
Oh, he's got a straight blade. All right.
It is, but as you see it with the firelight gleaming across it, it looks a little bit too smooth to be metal, and you see that it's actually laying, which is a sort of a magical glass, if you will. And there is a bit of a slight glow in the interior of it. And he comes up and posts next to you.
All right, fine.
Flank.
Not to be outdone here, but
yeah,
he's got a lane. That's the cherry red Ferrari of metal of the metal of this game. Come on now.
But obviously your sword is now glowing an intense blue.
Clayin it wants blood too.
Oh yeah. As these six figures advance, one with a slight limp. All right. So the first one, I'm going to have actually 2 on each of you.
Question. I stepped away briefly. I do apologize.
That's fine.
Our initiative for the scene, just for my head, I began to sing, quoting these couplets, and Sura let fly a javelin at one of our foemen and connected.
Yes.
And he's stepped forward to post up on my right, and Manos is posted up on my left.
Yes.
So we are a line.
I would think so. Yeah.
Okay. So now the enemy is coming to meet us. Okay. Just so I have it in my head.
They are advancing.
Excellent.
As they come towards you, go ahead and make me I think it's a fear resistance. Let me look and see here real quick.
Who are you talking to, Lord Keeper?
You got the two of you specifically.
Oh, both of us.
Because it is a line of undead coming towards you. It's a bit disconcerting.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Very fair enough. So channel resistance roll?
This one is going to be.
You said fear.
Let's see if they have. I'm trying to remember how to work.
Fear isn't essence.
No, fear is. Actually, go ahead and do channeling again, because that'll work.
All right.
Yeah, we'll do channeling again. I keep forgetting this is MERP, not Rollmaster.
Well, right. That is 94 for me, not after bonuses.
Okay. So that's 64. I'm not sure if there's any bonuses, but 64.
Okay. That's fine. Okay, so you look over your left and you see Manos. He steals himself, and Sura, he's definitely quaking a bit at these things approaching him, but you're able to stand your ground. You're not driven away. And Minardil, you even though it's
it's disconcerting, but
it's disconcerting.
I'm freaked out by the fact that the javelin didn't take him down.
Yeah.
He's still walking.
Yeah, he's still walking, and these things are not moving in a natural way at all. Their movements feel very forced.
It looks very jerky to Strick's mind.
Yeah, it's almost like they're trying to hold back, but are being forced forward by some other force. The first one comes within. But I'm going to go ahead and go. What I see is left to right. So I'll Sura first. Two of them come at you with one with an axe and one with a sword. What is your defensive bonus, my friend? With your
my
shield
defense
and such.
bonus total. Yeah, so plus 25 for the shield, if I remember correctly. I think that's right.
That's correct.
And then plus the let's see, defensive bonus I've got on the sheet here. So yeah, total is going to be plus 35.
All
I
right,
have
then
it correct.
plus
I'm
then
not sure. I
plus
don't
10.
have.
That's fine.
Okay, yep.
35 plus
That's
10
it.
for the song, so 45.
45.
So, all right, and their offensive bonus is all right. There we go. All right.
There we go.
So okay, the first one swings for you, and they're not sure maybe if it's just the fact that it obviously can't see because it doesn't have any eyes in its face as it
Oh,
Oh,
horrifying.
as it's gazing at you. The blade comes down and glances harmlessly off your shield. The
Good job.
second one,
well done.
though,
The
not
axe.
actually. Yeah. This is the axe. So that's 70, 30, that's 116 minus 45. That's going to put that at around 60. And what kind of armor are you wearing?
I am
you
wearing
leather?
soft leather. Soft leather. Yeah.
Soft leather. Okay. Let me see here. Soft leather. That one actually gets to sting you a bit for 3 hits,
Okay.
but nothing beyond that. It just sort of creases your arm a bit, and you'll probably have a nasty bruise tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't quite get through the armor in a bad way.
But definitely a bad bruise as the sword comes at me, this shambling thing. I hit it, I bash it away, shield bash it, the torch flailing, the torch blinding me because I've got the torch in the same hand as the shield. So the torch kind of like I torch blind myself for a second, as then the axe comes at me, and then it clips my shoulder, catching me, stinging. I yelp, but I stand my ground, still horrified by these foes. That's it.
Okay. Minardil, you'll be the next one there. And so what is your defensive bonus, my friend?
I've got a 25 parrying bonus from my bracers. Does that factor into this or no?
Yes, it does.
Oh, it
because you are because you went defensive, you are parrying. Yes.
All right. Well, give me a second.
Okay.
I got to craft on a map.
Yeah. Bit of math.
All right. I'm not complaining by no means. I just want to make sure I don't screw myself.
Just have a calculator open on the side.
I've got that. That's actually pretty damn good. Okay. What's that? Damn it.
I just need to need the total number that you've got. You had to roll a dice. I had to roll the dice.
Oh,
so this is what I subtract from my roll.
Oh, excuse me, 63.
Okay. All right. So this thing, what kind of armor are you wearing, sir?
It is elven male.
Chain, right?
Yeah, male. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That one actually, the first attack that comes at you actually glances off the mail, no problem at all. You're able to sidestep it, if you will. The second one doesn't even come close. You dance out of the way expertly.
Minardil is a very acrobatic fighter, as we're about to see.
Yeah. So, Manos, the first attack on him goes wide. It's almost as if these things can't see what. And the second one goes wide as well. The dice now love you. So back to the top. Minardil, they are now close to you. Are you going to continue singing?
I can sing and attack, can't I?
You can, but you have to make a roll
Okay.
each round, and if you get hit, we have to make a roll to see if you can continue singing. So, but as long as you have right now, you haven't been hit. So
it's difficult to sing when you get hit in the face with a mace.
Yeah,
it
right.
is. So, or at least keep the tune. So that's fine. So what you'll do, the very first thing then is you'll roll your base OB. Instead of remember the minus the 25 for the discordant chant that's going on.
I'm gonna stop singing.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna stop singing here.
All right. So you're gonna focus on your attack.
Yeah, I'm going to retaliate
All right.
hard.
All right, good. Do so.
Oh yeah, with a 98. Oh my god, here we go.
All right.
I
98
like
on
these
the roll.
dice. My goodness. Keep Xing out my damn, excuse me, my calculator here. Plus my two-handed weapon proficiency. That is 185.
All right. So there'll be a total of 145 with their defensive bonuses.
Yep.
So let me get back onto my get it right here. Two-handed. Let's see, two-handed attack, 145. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
That is going
After
to be
bonuses.
yeah. That is going to be a 31 points of damage, which is pretty vicious. I dropped a paper. And you'll have what's called an called an E critical.
Oh,
so
wait,
what
is
you'll do
it E? Is how do they do that? Is the
A B C D E.
A being
are
the
five-
best or the worst?
A being the least, E being the
Oh.
best. So what you'll do is roll another set of percentile and add 20 to it, and then tell you what you rolled.
It's 86 plus 20.
So a 106.
Yeah, 106. Yep.
All right, you actually are going to hit this thing in the stomach.
Okay.
You drive your blade through the stomach.
I've got it for you.
Yeah,
Keith.
if you want to
I've got
describe it
this.
to me, yeah.
What we'll see here as the undead press up to us, try to push us back with their darkness there, with that discordant chant kind of like driving them forward. However, it seemed with that those jerky movements, it's almost like the dead themselves actually want to go back to their rest. We see the Dunedain bard Mynardil the Strix very deftly sidestep and then take one shot on his silver inlaid bracers as he lifts his forearm up. It bounces off with a clang, and he retaliates viciously with a roar from the diaphragm, and he says, "Blood for Ulmo," as he drives his gleaming blue, angry, fiery blue war sword into the bowels of this undead monstrosity. As we now see that if anyone was a religious sailor upon the blue wavy breast of Ulmo, the god of the waves, Mynardil invokes him in battle, and with a blade the same color as the sea, he's almost attacking him with the sword point as well as his entire body to throw this thing back, almost as a wave crashing upon the shore himself. With that,
well, you do make contact with the stomach area, and you're able to gash this thing open in a horrible disemboweling wound to this thing. The contents of the stomach cavity fall to the ground with a horrible stench and a horrible view as well.
Oh no!
give me that defense, that disease resist. Here we go.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah, resist disease.
Oh goodness gracious, that is a 90 even. Wait, hang on. Where's my disease resist? My disease resist. Oh, excuse me, 105. Excuse me, I have a plus 15.
Okay. So you're able to keep from losing, well, what might have been your lunch. Not definitely not your dinner, because you get that.
No, we were interrupted.
This thing staggers back about a step and then keeps coming. This blow would have laid any man low, but this thing seems to ignore the fact that it's well, I guess it doesn't need what's laying on the ground now.
Right.
But it does continue to advance. You see off to the side. Yeah.
The shock does not register on Mynardil's face, but that's certainly the thought in his head. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So Manos, of course, seeing that, squares off and launches an attack with his sword on the one next to him. Oh, that works out. Okay, it's 150 minus 40. That's a 110 for him. That will be a he hits his fairly solidly at, let me see, percentile again. 252. He actually hits his along the side of the chest, but a lot of the blow is on the armor. His blade doesn't sink quite as deeply as yours. But once again, this thing doesn't seem to be that really worried about it.
The most uncanny thing amongst us is the fact that we're all seasoned warriors and we're used to fighting the living. The most uncanny part of this is we've just tried to lay 3 guys out and they're still moving. That's the fear part.
And
the rest
it is literally 3. These are 3 blows that would have at the least caused a normal man to fall down in pain, or at worst be lying in his own entrails trying to put them back in.
Right.
But these things don't seem to care.
Yeah, that's the fear for Minardil.
Okay. Indeed. And let's see here, Sura. Oh, I didn't do Sura, did I?
No.
I skipped you. I'm sorry.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Player combat
Go
bonus.
for it, my friend.
Yes. Yeah. So when the corpse gets disemboweled, I almost passed out from the stench.
Okay.
I particularly have a very keen sense of smell. My
Good
people.
to know.
And I almost hurl. It's actually thank Norsu we didn't have dinner tonight, because that would be it. That'll be on the floor now. Thankfully it's safely back in the camp, cooking still. We didn't put the fire out. Oh no. The things you think about in the heat of the moment. So no. So like so as these creatures are moving on to us, I will call out, back or I'll be surrounded. I will make an attack with my offhand, if I may, with the torch, and I will attempt to strike the one of these creatures with the torch offhand.
Okay. Do you have any points in one-handed concussion?
No, I don't. No. So I do have a -20.
Yeah, you have -20 with that attack then. Yes.
Okay, we'll see if I can get something good. Come on, give me it. No, that's definitely not a that's a 14 on dice. So I don't think that's quite a fumble, but like that's still like minus.
It's not actually a fumble, but no.
Yeah.
You're right, it's not a fumble, but definitely it is. You very ineptly wave the torch in the air.
Yes, in front of the creature to try and to frighten it in some sort of attempt.
All it really does is give you a really good look at its decayed face.
Yeah.
Which makes it worse.
Yeah. Did you back off, you said?
I will take half a step back, but I'm not going to leave the side of the Strix or Manus.
So are you going to then go defensive, as they say?
Yeah. I'll definitely go defensive, but I'll call out, we need to move back, otherwise we're surrounded. And I call out as I flail the torch.
Yeah. All right. Matter of fact, he gets a little close to Minardil. Just you feel the heat for just not close enough to actually burn you, but you feel the heat. All right.
I might just kind of go on that side. Is my eyebrow still blinded there? I'm sorry. That's
okay.
Not that.
Right. We wouldn't notice. You wouldn't notice.
So the two that are on Sura advance with you. The one with the sword swings. This might actually have made a connection with this one.
Oh no. So, 45. Oh no, 35 on my defense.
35, right. So
the
actually,
song is
remember to
ending.
add half of your offensive bonus because you're defensive.
Do that.
Right,
do that.
right.
Yeah.
So my offensive bonus is the roll. Like, so what is that? Sorry, I don't have that on the sheet.
It's the percentage. It's your percentile bonus that you
Mhm.
have to your whatever melee weapon you're currently holding.
Okay.
So if you're using your javelin as like I would assume at the moment would be a two-handed weapon, basically, or pole arm.
Yeah.
If you
Okay.
have a bonus in that, then that's what you would add half of to your defensive bonus.
Okay. Rounding down.
Yes.
Okay. That'll be +7 then. So that'll be a total of 42.
All right. Okay. In that case, that's going to be a. Say, and you're wearing soft leather.
Mhm.
So. This one actually, it gets past your guard, delivering another 5 points of hits to you, 5 hits to you. As the axe basically gets past your guard. The other fellow that's beside him.
That's a graze or like significant.
It's a graze. It's just 5 hits.
Okay.
So
okay.
The next one though might be a bit more.
Mm.
Yes, actually, it's going to be a bit more. Now, the way I do this is when a opponent scores a critical hit on you, I let you roll the percentile for me. So he did
Okay.
do eight. This one did 8 hits and he scored an A critical on you as a slashing weapon. So roll your percentile and subtract 20 for me.
Okay. So I rolled very high. I rolled a 99 minus 20. That's going to be 79.
Roll again and add it. And then subtract 20 from the total.
Okay. That's a so that was a 99, and then I rolled again, and I was in 63.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
162 minus
Okay.
20 is going to be 142 total.
Okay. All right. So that's a critical. You ready for this?
Give it to me.
So, are you okay? So basically, this next blow, the first one comes in and just sort of nicks you, draws a bit of blood.
Mhm.
But as it does, as you're waving that torch around, the next blow comes in and catches you right on the tip of your elbow, very solidly. It shatters your elbow, causing you to drop your torch. That arm is useless, and you are stunned for 5 rounds. Now, what stunned means is that you can't attack, you can defend yourself, and you can back off, but that hurts. Luckily, no additional damage other than that. So you hear.
Which arm was it? I've got a shield in the left arm and weapon in the right arm.
I'll tell you what. Let's say left is even, right is odd, and roll 1d10 and see if you get even or odd.
Right is odd. So I got a 2, so that's gonna be right.
It's even. It's even.
Even. Oh yeah, even.
Even
That's
will
right.
be left.
Okay, it'll be left.
So it is, I guess, your shield arm.
Yeah.
So
okay.
That's good.
So, I lose my shield bonus. So I take that. I take that hit. I attempt to raise that. I'm flailing that torch. I blind myself. And an attempt to scare this creature away, but it doesn't, and it continues to thrash. And I get nicked by one blade, and then the axe comes swinging with unnatural strength and unnatural quickness of the dead, typical of the dead. It comes down. I raise my shield awkwardly on an awkward angle. The shield doesn't completely cover my arm; it covers most of it, but the angle of it comes down on the shield, glancing, sliding off of it, but continues to go down and then catches the end of my arm, which is my elbow, which is exposed just past the rim of the shield, and it cracks and it splinters, and there is a scream, a howl of pain that echoes through the discordant song of this place. that's still sung by the thing inside the burial mound. And as I howl, the arm immediately drops limp, unable to be used. It hangs as I swing it. It's not, I can't move it. As I take a step back, the torch in my right arm, is the only thing I have left that I'm carrying, aside from the hand axe at my belt. But that's it. As I scream and roar in pain. That's my turn.
All right. Then the next two coming after Minardil. Normally, if this were a actual band of orcs or such, they might get a little bit of inspiration from that, but these undead aren't inspired at all. So Minardil.
Good. Damn them. Come on now.
Good God.
Oh.
The first one apparently just is enamored by your armor and misses.
It is pretty.
I don't have to check. The second one, well, what's your defensive bonus currently?
My defense bonus?
Yeah.
It's plus 45. Wait,
45? Okay.
am I parrying?
No, you attacked this round.
I did. Oh yeah, no, then it's just 45.
Okay, yeah, it still didn't hit you. These dice like you. They don't like syrup for some reason. Oh,
Bloody foreigners.
that's not gonna be good. Okay.
But come on.
Of course, they're Dunlendings. They're
Monos.
racist.
This is Monos, the elf.
After Manos.
Yeah. That
all right.
He's wearing rigid leather. And 11 and a B crit on him. You guys want to roll this, or you want me to roll it?
I'll roll it.
Okay, just roll it in -10.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Do I have to roll high? 74.
74. So minus
Does the
10,
elf
so
die?
64.
God damn it.
With the 64, probably not.
No. I rolled an 84. Okay. So
84. So minus 10. So 74.
Yeah.
Okay, 74. He gets a wound in his thigh.
God damn it.
And it's a fairly wide gash. Does additional 6 points of damage to him, and you see the flesh open, and as he begins to bleed.
Because elves bleed green, by the way.
Oh yeah, either way. So the
I'm
next
sorry,
attack,
no, they don't.
okay, the next attack is not going to hit him.
Okay, cool.
But he lets out a yelp of pain as well, and sort of stumbles back. And as that happens, he looks over and he says, "We need to retreat now."
To punctuate that statement, yep, thank you.
Yeah.
Is the Strix back up to the top? What are we doing?
Yes, back up at the top with Strix.
Now, okay, this is gonna be really silly, but because Minardil has no idea. How bad off does the corpse look that I maimed earlier?
Well, if it was a living person, he would be dead.
Oh yeah, well.
It's hard. It's really hard to say. I mean, you hit him pretty hard, but you're not exactly sure exactly how durable these things are. I mean,
yeah,
do they keep?
That's actually very true. Yeah. Actually, you know what? What's he gonna do? Of course you would. All right. Minardil's intention is to attempt another attack on the one that the undead that he attempted to destroy earlier, and possibly what his intention is to finish this thing off, back off, and then throw Sura on his shoulder and then beat cheeks.
Okay. Okay.
So if I can do that in my turn,
you can do it by halving your offensive bonus.
I'll do
and
that.
I will give you the additional action to be able to grab him and then.
I'm talking about picking this child up and throwing him on my shoulder, kit and all, and then
You may have to
moving.
make a strength check to actually
That's
be able
fine.
to keep your feet.
If I
Okay.
can do all this, that's his scene.
Okay. Okay.
My half my offensive here.
Mhm.
All right. Let's see if we can actually do this here. With a 103 after bonuses there.
All right.
What do you
That
want?
is going to be a 63. So, unfortunately, the blow that you deliver actually catches a piece of its armor and doesn't seem to actually go through.
The skitter's
So,
off. What is he wearing?
He's actually wearing a chain hauberk.
Okay.
So
There'll
in
be a
this
few
specific case,
sparks there.
has a nice gash across the midsection where you cut through it earlier. But as you come and try to hit it again, it sort of just hits it may actually just sort of hit the bottom part once again and sort of dangle it and make it sway.
So essentially what'll happen is from the previous torch waving, Might Armdale will basically steal a glance over his shoulder as Sura is laying there on the ground screaming in agony, and he'll basically snap a shot off to attempt to try and like take this thing's head off with the tip of his sword, but it'll basically bounce off. They basically ring the shit out of this thing's bell, should it have had one in life.
Yes.
With its helmet, but he'll do that and then quickly dip sword basically over his left shoulder as he turns to the right to defend himself. And I'll make my strength.
I'm still on my feet, but just like kind of almost kneeling down, kind of almost like taking off my feet, but I'm still like I think on my feet.
You might.
I'm picking you up bodily. Is what's going to happen.
Okay. I weigh about 170 pounds normally, so plus gear maybe 200 pounds. Just so you know. I will help you. I'll definitely want to impede you.
That's hang on here. I just rolled a 98. Let me adding that all together here.
Got that right here. We're going to call this a medium check.
I'm lifting him or attempting to lift him with a 202.
Okay, yeah, you're able to do it.
Oh yeah, no. So I basically I snapped that shot off. We hear a ring off of his mail helmet, and I basically come like 2 steps over. I pass the sword off to my left hand, and then right arm just basically scoops you up, and I throw you over my shoulder, and I begin like just force marching up the turf away back to where we're supposed to be going.
Okay. All right. Next will be Sura's turn, but you are stunned. Do you want to do anything defensively or anything, or any? I don't think you can actually do anything. To tell you the truth, being stunned
on my back.
Yeah, you could watch. You could watch and possibly hurl an insult.
Yeah, definitely. I will stifle back tears that reflexive tears that you would get if your arm got shattered, if your elbow got shattered. Okay, fair enough. I'll also probably in that scuffle, I probably would have dropped the second torch I had. Okay. So it's probably just laying at the feet of the undead, and the javelins as well, unfortunately. But I still have my hand axe at my side, but it's clasped. But yeah, I will then just try and orient myself and not impede the Strix as he carries me, and as soon as I will attempt to relieve him of his burden and attempt to carry and run on my own 2 feet. Okay. I'm very motivated to run, actually.
Yeah. So Manos, with a decided limp, is moving back with his and actually takes a swipe at another one as well. His blow also ringing off a bit of mail as he does his best to run at a bit of a disadvantage, but he actually makes it. He's following behind you. He just keeps saying go, 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 and these things don't seem to be very fast. That's probably the one thing that they that is at your advantage at the moment.
Good.
So it doesn't take you long to get to the perimeter where the standing stones are.
I'm going back to where we had our camp initially. I am not putting Sura down until we are back there.
Okay. As
if
you
he
are
struggles, like shut up, you drop your shield. It's too damn heavy.
yeah, as you're going.
Please, I'm fine. I can work. I can run now. It's okay.
Shut up.
Please. I start like, you know, kind of like kicking my legs, trying to like.
With my other hand, I punch him in the side.
Okay. As you guys are doing this, you hear this cackling laughter, just derisively laughing from behind you as that discordant song finally either comes to an end or is just stopped singing. And as you the further you run, the more this thing cackles at you until eventually you just it's off in the distance. A frantic run back, you know, it doesn't take you more than 15 minutes or so to get back to where the camp was. And as you get there, you notice that as you're going towards there, you notice that Manos is lagging behind, falling further and further behind you.
As I turn this body on my shoulder, Manos, hurry up!
As you turn, I almost slam. You almost slam me into a tree. Put me down.
You see that he's struggling. As
Manos has been hurt. Please let me go to him. I can help him.
No, you're not. No, come on now. Manos, where are you? I'm searching.
Please put me down.
You're not. You're facing the other way. Never mind you.
Yeah, he's coming. Yeah, he's coming.
I've seen him limp behind us as you've been carrying me. Please.
Yeah, he's limping. Yeah, you've been watching him flagging.
And I'm far more concerned about him than I am with myself. I want to run to him. So as I see him like continuing to struggle in the back, I will redouble my efforts.
Make me opposing strength checks.
Okay.
See if he can wriggle free.
I will try to wriggle free.
Okay,
+5.
No. 91.
That's
101. Excuse me.
Higher than 69. So like I'm still struggling, but like I can't get loose.
I will say this: the difference is about 30. So you can't control him 100%. You can hang on to him, but he's probably going to get his feet on the ground in that situation.
If that's the case, as soon as his feet touch the ground, I drop him.
Okay.
I crash into the snow in the roots of the forest gate. As I
jog back down our trail, find Manos, and then grab him.
Wait, do not leave your light, your sword. There's no. I don't have a torch anymore. As we've only been running with the light.
The blue light goes off into the mist. Oh shit, we're a mess.
As you get, but with that blue light, as you get up to Manos, what you see is that leg where he had that wound is from that wound down is covered in blood, and you see a trail of it in the snow.
We have to help you.
He looks much more pale than he did before.
I will resolve.
I pick Manos up, and I'm the only one uninjured here.
Yeah. I will actually attempt to help him first. Okay. I will definitely contest. I will definitely try and help him first, even in my state.
Okay.
I mean, like my conditioning, I've stopped like screaming and crying. My conditioning is actually pretty good.
Yeah, your arm is busted, but you're no longer stunned.
Yeah,
at this point. So yeah, you can do other things if you need to, cast spells, etc.
Yeah.
So
I will go. Minardo, I've got him. Please, just show us the way with the light.
Well, when you inevitably fail with a broken arm,
I'm fine. Like you see me struggle against, even though it hurts. Like I will still do everything I can to help Manus, and I'll kind of like scooch him underneath my broken arm, and hold him with the other one, and kind of give him some support, be his crutch.
Yeah,
and kind of power through.
He says, Menardal, go ahead. We'll support each other. Your weapon arm should be free in case they come.
Well, That well, actually, what
Wise
what's he,
words.
what's he do? He
Please.
just kind of he kind of bitches to himself for a moment and takes a few steps away from you guys, and with a high guard, just illuminating the place, the area with blue lights, and I go, just go back to the camp,
Okay. All right. So
and I'll
they let,
basically like take measured
yeah.
retreating steps back up,
Okay.
watching the darkness, and if anything crawls out of it.
Okay. So you get back to the camp. It takes you a bit to get there. By the time you get there, sir, it's holding up Manos is getting to be difficult.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
actually
definitely.
slumps down, and when he gets to camp there, and he looks up at you sort of very weakly. He says, "You said you were a healer. Can you?"
Yes, I am. I will do. I will take. I will take care of this. Okay, it's okay. Just please. I need to get this. We need to get off your griefs. I need to get a better look at it.
Okay. He
By the light, I will throw one of the
Yeah.
torches. Like as we get to back to
Yeah.
campfire, there's like 3 or 4 torches left. I brought like 3 on the journey
yeah.
to the thing,
Okay.
so there's still 4 of them. I'll throw 2 of them where they already have oil on them.
Yeah.
I'll throw 1 in the fire to sort of get it restarted very quickly.
Yeah. It does.
And then the other one I'll light and sort of put on the other side so we can sort of create some
Yeah.
light.
Yeah. You can with the light, you can see. Well, first off, the first thing you notice is this horribly bruised elbow of yours that the arm just doesn't want to work. And it looks bad. It's probably at this point pretty swollen, but his leg, you can actually see across the front of his breeks have been sliced open, and the wound itself is it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So,
I inwardly curse at my foolishness for letting myself get hurt, and now I can't. Now I'm hampered in my ability to help this man, this elf. I grit my teeth and I do my damnedest to help him.
okay.
Not focusing on any of my own needs or any of my own cares. I will do everything I can to get him up and running. I will with one arm, only one arm, I will take out my pack and struggle, and I will try and put on a brave face as if I'm as if pretending like, oh, my arm just hurts a little bit, but it's okay. I'll play it off as if it's nothing, not to worry Manos. Obviously he'll probably be able to tell through the attempt, but I will take out my the healing herbs and poultices, the wrappings, the bandages, the whale blubber, as to sort of help seal the wound later, and begin to as quickly as possible tend to the wound and make sure that it's not infected. I do rub ice on it, and in order to help cauterize the blood a little bit and just keep it there, but also not too long so as not to cause frostbite, as I'm quite knowledgeable in such things. I will, as beads of sweat falling down my face as I begin my work administering this care. Just as I'm looking over my shoulder to you, Menardil, I will say, please keep an eye out. I'll need some time, at least I'll need at least maybe 15 minutes in order to see to him. Then we can maybe move him.
Maybe a perception check.
Sure thing. Okay, that is going to be 59 on dice plus. Oh, good. 65, 85.
Okay. You see as you look up, and Menardo, if you want to actually do a perception check as well, you can.
But I'm actually going to be looking for a specific thing.
Okay.
I'm actually going to come over with that blue glowing sword that I have, the color of the sea. Actually lean very close, actually hover it above the wound. Can I actually make an intelligence check? I've read about Morgul blades in the past. I've never encountered one before.
Yeah, actually, yeah. If you want to see if you can, yeah.
Oh, geez, that's a 97. Oh my god, I'm on fire
Okay.
tonight. Hang on. I know the shit out of that.
Yeah. So
182.
okay, so yeah, you look at the wound, and it does not have the telltale marks of a Morgul blade. Normally, from what you've heard and what you've read of them, which is apparently fairly extensive, shortly after the wound is created, it begins to rot, and this is not doing that.
I'm
This looks
just
like
gonna.
a pretty standard normal blade, although the blade probably was fairly dirty, I mean, coming out of a
Oh
grave.
yeah, no. That's
Yeah,
Minard.
but
Well, the Strix has no bedside manner. He doesn't.
yeah,
He just blatantly, flat out says, "Well, it looks like the touch of Morgul isn't about you,
okay.
luckily,
As
but
so,
that blade is not clean. Sir,
mhm,
you can clean that.
mhm. As you're saying that
Absolutely.
with the Sura,
I
you
will boil
notice,
some water.
yeah,
I'll
you
be
notice
back.
over his shoulder
Mhm.
that you notice two figures coming up out of the darkness from beyond.
I'll just yell at him. Damn you! And
Yeah.
I charge.
Well,
Just
that's what
charge.
Sura sees. Sura sees this over your shoulder.
Oh,
Mm.
okay. Then I'm
So
just kind of
Yeah,
patting.
you're
patting us
so
down.
as you say that earlier, Minardo, I stand, and I slowly and I don't say anything for a second, and I grab with my arm, my good arm, I lunge over for the torch, that's next to providing light. I raise that up in the air, and I look over and I gesture the torch towards the figures, and I say, "Who goes there?"
at first, the first thing that you see in your mind is these undead creatures have returned.
Yeah.
With the clothing, with the armor that they're wearing, and the way they're armed. That's the first thing you see. But as the light hits them, the torchlight hits them, because the Strix's blade has been dimming.
Mm-hmm.
You see the glint of eyes reflected in the torchlight, and you realize that it's two men. And
Sorry.
I then point and I gesture towards these two. I then lower. I see that, and I lower the torch. I was about to throw it, but then I lower the torch, as we look at our unexpected guests. Hopefully,
who do we have here who is camped so close to the sacred burial grounds? One of them says.
What language is he speaking?
He's speaking Western because he heard you speaking Western. I froze. Hold on.
You're good. Oh
Okay,
No, you're good.
yeah.
We're hearing you.
Okay. He's speaking Western because he was actually listening to you as he was walking up and heard you guys speaking Western among yourselves. So and but it is definitely accented.
Oh, okay.
So
As soon as I hear a voice that is not ours, the
I will
Strix
say
almost
this.
pounces like a panther.
I will say this. At first, you think that Belflecca has returned, but it's not. But the accent reminds you of him.
Yeah, no, I know my friend's voice better than anybody else. And if there's any difference in the timbre, I would know. I would know 100%. So no, I'm halfway there, sword on high. As soon as I see they're actually Dunlendings, they're different.
And your blade is not glowing anymore.
Yep. So they're on the edge of the torchlight.
Yeah, they basically have come to the edge of the camp, for like where at the trees around the clearing that you're at. They were obviously approaching. Their weapons are not in their hands.
Oh well, I'm kind of threatening them. That no.
Newcomers, be you among the living.
Yes. Is there any? Yes, we were walking.
That's the dead do also walk this night. And I grab him, pull him into
Yeah.
the torch light. I actually look behind him.
Yeah. Yeah. You see 3 others walking up. And as soon as you grab the guy, you see weapons come out.
No, wait. Please.
Stow those
We are friends.
in the light.
Okay.
And I'm actually looking past them. I'm not caring that they're now
Yeah.
threatening.
Well, at this point, they're coming. They're stalking forward.
No, please.
And
Minato, please. Stand down.
Shut up.
Guy,
We are friends here.
The guy that you grabbed says something in. Do you speak Dunblending?
I do, yeah.
So yeah, in that language, he says, "Hold, friends, they're injured."
There's your ancestors walked this night. We've just encountered them. Come into the light.
Okay.
Quickly.
They do come into the light, as of course the fire is now flared up quite a bit. They don't stow their weapons, but they're not actually threatening with them at the moment.
I'm
As he
not paying
says that,
attention to anybody. I'm looking at the darkness, waiting
Yeah,
for anybody
they're
else
obviously
to come
people.
out.
They're
How many
obviously
people? About
there's
a dozen?
We've
There's
got
5.
5. Okay.
Yeah, and the one fellow looks at the other guy that you had grabbed, and he said he laid hands upon you. He says, yes, he's probably protecting his injured friends. We need to get them back and tend to them. One's an elf. One is that Manos?
It is
And,
Manos.
yeah. At that, the guy that you grabbed goes down to him and he actually starts talking to him in Sindar, and he says, Manos, how did you come by this injury? The treatment is odd, but it seems to be working. He motions towards Sura sort of weakly. He says, Sura here is a healer from the north.
And I say in sort of very simple Sindarin, knowing the language myself, I say, I have done what I can, but please, friends, and then I switch over to Western. If you understand me in this tongue, please, friends, we need aid. There are dead that walk about a mile towards that direction. They have profaned your burial tombs and your burial mounds. We have come against them, and they have injured my friend here. I need some help to move him soon. He's almost ready to leave.
We
cannot stay here. It's dangerous.
We can help you. We can take you back to our village.
Thank you.
Um,
I must finish with these moons, please. I won't be a moment longer.
okay.
As I will struggle, despite having one arm, I will struggle to finish.
The one fellow stands up, that was leaning down toward Manos, and he turns to you and he says, I am Barafael. I'm a
Very well met. I am Sura of Vakaki. Of Yavaki. I'm sorry.
our village is nearby. I was coming to find you. You were I'm assuming if this is Manos, the other fellow here, and he looks at Menardel, he says, you must be the Strix. Your companion told us you may be out here.
Oh, good. You did see Bell. Is
Yes,
he well?
He is very well. Last I saw him, well
Good.
fed, and he's entertaining the young ladies with tales of you.
I hope all of the terrible things.
Possibly, but if you'll help me, we'll help gather your gear and get these 2 young men to a warm home and get them tended. We have a great healer in our village, and then you can tell you more about these dead that walk.
Thank you so much for your aid. Truly, you have our deepest gratitude. Blessings of the spirits be upon you and your village.
Okay.
But please, I must stress again. We must go back to your village as quickly as possible. We must warn the others.
The fellow looks
dead
at you
walk.
with a very calm voice. He says, "We will, but we need to tend to yours and his wounds, and so we will get you back now." So
don't worry about me. Please look after Manos.
So he they gather you, help you gather yourself up. Yes.
The boy's elbow is shattered. He's in shock, Just shut him up.
Yes. Well, he'll look over at Sura there, and he'll put his hand on your shoulder, which probably makes you wince.
Mm.
And he says, "See the truth of that. Come, we'll take care of Manos, and we'll take care of you as well. So, can you walk?"
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't need to be carried.
Okay.
I say out loud.
Hey, yeah, the
Okay.
Strix just snorts derisively.
So they actually the other four will help you gather up your gear, get the fire put out and such, and they begin leading you back out away from the barrows.
I hope somebody picks up the cauldron of soup that's still there.
They do. And they actually give you each a bit of very hearty bread that's it's actually quite good. It's got it's impregnated with nuts and seeds and such as well. So it actually, oddly enough, you guys are probably starving at this point.
Yeah.
So, and as you guys walk off into the night with these fellows there, and with that, we will bring ourselves to the end of the night here. And I'd like to sort of hear what's in Minardale's mind after the events of this evening.
Well, at this point, a lot of what has been happening, Minardale hasn't been participating in. His very brief. He'll grunt in appreciation at things being helped out with, but his eyes are riveted on the darkness. He's waiting for these things just to shamble out again. His back is to the camp. His sword is still in his hand, but obviously lower, and I point to the ground. The blade, having a velvet lined hilt, is comfortable still, but he's got a white knuckled grip under his rabbit fur gloves, and he has just a few moments of few moments of clarity between like spasms in the trembling hands there. He finally stows his sword, and he calls his owl Olos to him. Lets her actually rest on his forearm, and he takes a bit of comfort having her there. Strokes her feathers with his knuckles there, and he gives Blizzard a small scroll, and he launches the owl off to the east here, where he has a letter addressed to a Lastriel, an elfin maiden that he had gone on this trip for. He's starting to feel that his quest to recover the tapestry of Anatar is it's not worth his time. It was a grand gesture, possibly for love, for recovering an artifact, and possibly dispelling some of the darkness around it in the world. But this was an interesting evening of development and knowledge for the young bard. There's going to be many disquieting poems in his future, writing about the countenance of dead Dunlendings, and how the moon, that baleful moon, bounces off the white of the bone, and what glitter does come from the portions of mail that's not caked and engraved. He looks at his injured companions and just snarls to himself. He's taking it personally, as he's responsible for these injuries. It's upon him, and he's a tad bit lost to find where to go next. But hopefully these Dunlendings aren't going to lead them astray. And he'll gather up some of his things and trudge along behind them. He'll bring up the rear.
Wonderful there. So, what do we see in Sura's mind as it races this night?
We see a scene of snow and tundra far, far away from this place, a land of home, a land of grace. Oh, home so far away, how I miss it all. That night when the world changed, mammoth horns cried out their wailing pleas. Awake, awake, death comes for thee. For cometh clawed hands, clutching wicked blades, dripped of the blood of man. That night, a sea of shadows crept towards our camp in the icy night, guided by their witch king's sight. The orcs had found our camp at last. Angmar had us in its grasp. I tried to save you, O wise grandmother, bear you upon my shoulders as Menaudril did for me, though I tried to stop him. But it was not to be, dear grandmother, for the time had come, for the frost song was calling thee to bear you away to the great lodge of our people beyond the land of ice and gray. Dear, dear grandmother, you are a light for all to behold in our tribe, banishing the dark. Lo, I want to be just like you. I will do what you asked of me, grandmother. I will find this riddle that has been haunting the elders of our tribe. I will find the answers that have eluded us for so long. I will go on this journey for you. I will return my family, my people of Yavaki. I will return to you. I miss you all. But I found now familiar people, not familiar quite, but they are still familiar. There's still that distant sense of home that makes me long for my own, but I thank the spirits Nostru and your protection, my great white wolf pelt. Thank you for allowing me to live, my friends, my companions.
Beautiful, very poetic there. As we see the scene before us, um, our party's rescuers, if you will, help them gather their things up, and they begin the walk back to the camp. The two of the men support Manos with his arms over their shoulders, him limping on one leg, the other hanging loose. Sura being watched very closely by Barafael. Make sure he doesn't stumble. Our view winds upward into the dark, and then we fall downward toward the barrow where the battle took place. And inside, we see the six standing in a circle around this proposed figure, and we see a whiff of air, a bit of disturbance may a bit of darkness that's slightly darker than the rest of the shadows as it circles behind these six. And it comes to the one with the shattered leg. And next to it, the one that had been disemboweled. And it lets this shadow lets out a growl of frustration as what might have once been arms lash out and plunge into the bodies of these two corpses, and they fall to the ground, no longer being held up by whatever foul magic had animated them. And it says ruined, damaged and ruined, not suitable. And it goes to the one next to it and sort of wavers in front of its face and says, "Bring me 2 more corpses, fresh ones." And the thing turns without a word and leaves the barrow. The other 3 remaining follow it out. And it turns back to the body lying on the slab, and it says, "Do not worry, Eremudor. We shall bring you back. You shall once again rise, and you shall hold your kingdom once again, the one that you at one time held for Numenor. We shall reconquer, and we shall make the mortals of this land bow before you as they once did. Don't worry, my friend. Don't worry." As the light sort of flickers away and the curtains close, and our episode comes to an end. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, folks, and we shall see you in a couple of weeks for our wonderful continuation. Good night.